Hey everybody, welcome to the NoRights Podcast. I'm your host Ben, aka NoRights, and joining me, as per usual, my co-host and good buddy Ian. How you doing, Ian?
Shout of Soko.
Okay
right.
then.
Shout of Soko, right? Shout of Soko.
Right.
Alright. Also joining us from Ian's crib is a good friend of the show, Nate. How you doing, Nate? Pretty good. Alright. Also joining us this week, as I guess now common occurrence, is my twin brother and arch nemesis, Franklin. How you doing, Frank?
I still have a cough, so excuse me. Listeners.
Well, we haven't excused you for anything in the past. Why should we start now, Frank?
Right.
So,
Better than last night. Last night I talked to Ben, and it was like horrible. He thought I was dying.
Well, I always think you're dying, Frank. Anyway, Frank's joining us this week from his new computer that he finally has live. Let me just click to his window real quick so we can admire the fidelity and the little bit of extra light that you could see now. Rather,
This is the same room I've been doing it. I was gonna actually do the show, like, you know how this room's normally black. I was gonna have the lights on, and I got all the way up here, and I turned on the light, and all the bulbs except one burned out, so it looks stupid.
So now you have a spotlight. Cool.
Over there. It's not even over here. This whole side of the room is dark.
So
This
anyway,
is the difference between a Logitech camera and an eyesight, if anyone is watching.
the built-in eyesight. It's not the...
From an 07, by the way. It wasn't the new eyesight. I'm talking about an 07. Just to be clear.
So, yeah. Anyway. So, you might want to turn me down, Frank. I can hear me over your shoulder. I'm coming to get you, Franklin. Anyway. So,
Hold on.
it's been a while since we've all been together, fellas.
How's that?
I can still hear me. Anyway.
God damn it.
So,
Better?
this is going to be a regular occurrence on the show. So, getting
How
back
about
to... It's alright, Frank. So,
Okay.
anyway... Oh, big bucks, no whammies. Laundry's done. Anyway, so getting back to talking to everybody. It's been a while since we've all been in the same virtual room
We're not in
chat.
the same room.
In the same virtual room, if you'd actually listen to what I said, Frank.
I know, I heard what you were going to say, and you had to go, oh, wait a minute. We're not in a fucking room. You're in a basement, I'm in a hidey hole, and
You're in a dungeon.
who knows where Ian and Nate are. They're in the jungle.
Yeah, so coming to us from the jungles of Africa, how's it going over there, Ian and Nate?
Actually, we're in the city, so you're probably closer to a jungle type atmosphere than we are.
Alright.
Africa has cities.
Yeah, they got like Kmart's and Walmart's.
That's where the Blade Runner was. He was in the city. He was downtown.
In the city. Anyway, so... what are you... Don't die, Frank.
I guess we're doing okay though.
Alright, so, well, what have you been doing with your week, Ian? Please, tell us, enlighten us.
Yeah, I've been. That's it.
What have I done this
He's
week?
modest. He's my hero.
Oh,
He saved me.
oh.
I had to phone in a friend today, and that friend was Ian, because Ben didn't know anything about Windows PCs.
I told you, Frank, I've been on this Mac since '08, so I don't know.
Say, I've been using the iMac since '07, so I'll tell you how I was.
Yeah. He likes
But
to
everything's
talk like
now.
he's been doing it longer. It's like I told him I was saving up for my Mac before he bought his, so... He's like, well, if he's going to be switching, I might as well. Now that he's playing a lot of games.
My latest project would be helping Frank with his hard drive.
Yeah, I thought it was just a matter of formatting, and I ended up fucking up the boot, and I couldn't even boot in.
Not Das Boot.
DOS boot, yes. And now my hard drive, I was one step away, Ian. I have it now where I can load shit on it.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm glad we got your issue fixed with that, because he couldn't even boot on his SSD for some reason, and we had to
Yeah, I don't know why. I was trying to format the mechanical drive, and the SSD wouldn't load because I erased the partition on the mechanical drive.
Yeah.
But all I needed to do was restart.
Yeah, dealing with partitions on hard drives and stuff is a pain in the ass, man.
Oh God. Yeah. I was telling Ben about it. He was falling asleep, so. And I was the one doing it.
I don't know. I guess it's good, like, if you're doing server stuff and you need to divide up resources, but, like, whoever thought up with the idea of having a partition on a hard drive is an idiot.
If you do it just to do it, it's awesome. If you want to split up a drive and make individual shit, it's cool. But if you have to have it, it sucks. So, but yeah, I tried to call Ian and my phone was giving me issues, and he's like, "Well, let me call you," and he called me, and it was funny. He goes, "You seem to have gotten yourself into a pickle there," and that made me laugh, and that made me stop being mad at my computer and wanting to punch it.
Well, it's kind of hard to diagnose through text.
I was sending him pictures of like the error messages I was getting in the BIOS, and and I'm like, hold on.
Tech call with Frank and Ian coming this weekend to ABC.
Yeah, it's kind of funny though. I started digging out my old PC stuff from way back before I switched to Mac. Like I'm using my old Dell keyboard, and I was like, hey, my old Dell mouse, okay, and I was cleaning it off, and I flip it over, and it's a trackball mouse. No thanks.
No.
I'll use this laser one. Laser. Is it optical or laser? I think it's optical. Anyway.
No, you got a laser mouse, don't you, Nate? I thought it was trackball at first, huh? I don't know.
Lasers have a warning that it can cause damage to you, right? I mean, like on the actual device.
Yeah. Well, there's optical and then there's laser.
Yeah, they're two different things. Even though they sound like they're not.
Guys, this mouse talk is just too hot. I mean,
I know.
Oh man, I can only get so aroused. Anyway,
well, I guess the general question for Frank is how is everything decently running? Like, pretty good.
I have experienced the best performance I think I've ever seen on a machine. No lag. I mean, everything's nominal, sir.
Then again, you probably haven't really tried a game to really stress it, like Fallout 4 or something.
No. The drive we were trying to format was my storage drive for my game, so I just got that. Like over dinner, I googled once again another Tom's Hardware fucking site where someone finally said, "Oh, I did this and it fixed it," and I go, "That's the step I was missing."
What did they say you had to do?
Okay, well, like I said, I was one step away. I had set it to good partition table. I cleared the volume, and they restarted it. And then after they restarted it, it gave them the option to make a volume at the terabyte size that you got. I bought a 3 terabyte drive, ladies and gentlemen, and Windows was saying I only had 2, and that's quite a difference.
Well, it was split up into a 2, and then the left.
Yeah, the 1 was just non-allocatable, and that was a fucking problem. But we got it sussed out. Ian stuck it through, and now I can boot.
By the way, if I come over to see you over there, man, you owe me a beer or something, man.
I'm gonna have to go out and get you a beer. Shit, I don't drink beer anymore. I can give you a Mountain Dew.
It was some douche.
I only got 1 can of Surge left, man. I'm saving that for the apocalypse.
Oh, dude, they got whole cases
like 3
over
at
at
the dollar
Mark's.
store and I drink them all but 1.
They should be everywhere, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you can get the frozen one at Burger King. I bought that, and it wasn't that.
All right, so taking control of this show back.
Well, actually, I had one more question for Frank. How did you figure out how to put the CPU on the motherboard? Because for me, that was probably the hardest thing to do.
Like with the CPU on the motherboard?
Yeah, the CPU, the heat sink and all that paste?
Really, just from watching those YouTube videos, if you watch, like, Jay's Tech Tips or Linus Tech Tips, any of those guys who say, here's how to build a computer for newbies, and they show a video from start to finish, it's exactly like that. My only actual problem with any of it, other than this problem here, was I have a Noctua DH15, which is a big honking heatsink, and I put the thermal paste on the CPU, and I was getting ready to set the heatsink on there, and I had the fucking brackets upside down. So I had to sit this 5-pound CPU off to the side, take the brackets out, flip them back over, and then I could put it down, and then I cut the shit out of my hand getting the screwdriver in there. Because it's nice they give you a screwdriver, but it's an L shape like an Allen wrench kind of fucking deal. It's tension screw, so you got to lean in it and push while you're turning, you know. And you can't really get that with one of those. So, but I didn't think a regular screwdriver would fit. Once I realized I could fit my regular screwdriver in there and I could lean on that, I was gold. After that, I had really no trouble.
That's good. I guess our whole computer legacy with Frank now is over, Ben.
You think that, Ian? Just wait till I'm thinking about upgrading to.
Right.
You just got him started.
Yeah, I know I don't need it, but I think I'm gonna.
So do I need a sound card?
You think I should put the Beast of Satan in here? You know, just I don't know. I don't need him or anything, but I do like that nice three-headed dog. Just. I
was watching Linus's his personal build. It was a 2-year-old video, but he had a water-cooled both GPU and CPU, and he's like, I might put a sound card in it. I was like, do I need a sound card? I'm always gonna think that now when I think of sound cards.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Oh yeah, and I brought out my old speakers from way back when I used to use my Dell, and I plugged them in and they weren't working. I think I need to get something different because the plugs are the kind where if you move them, it'll crackle and then cut off. But since I don't shuffle everything around, I think I'll be okay.
Okay, then.
You guys are hearing this on a headset anyway.
Okay. So, moving along. So, you've just been hanging out, Ian, huh? And playing Dr. Tech Ian, Dr. Guy for Frank. Tech support.
I was coding and then decided to give up on it.
Ian Tech Tips.
I think I'm done with doing, because I was trying to do like a lot of batch script stuff, and I'm like, this is getting too crazy for all the stuff I wanted to do with it was too complicated. So like, I'm gonna be like, I think I'm gonna try to use another program for another language for this, man.
Yeah.
So I decided I could have worked more on it today, but I decided to sit back and then just sort of think about what to do next.
Yeah, that's a good thing, man, because some people, they'll just go from one thing right to another, and it's like, give yourself some time to reflect, and actually just relax and let the stuff come to you in your head before you just go out and go at it. Well,
I'm not going to delete my work, because I worked so long on it, but
keep it around for examples, and you might pull something from it, like, how did I do this before,
Yeah, I'm going to at least, if I'm still going to code stuff, I'm going to at least move on to just do it with JavaScript or something, man. Because it's a lot more user-friendly, so.
I don't blame you. So, how about you, Nate? What have you been up to since we last talked with you?
I've been playing Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
Ah, I've heard good things about that one. How do you like it?
I like it. I liked it a lot better than Monster Hunter 3, because in Monster Hunter 3 you had to battle the monsters underwater, and that was just a pain in the butt. Like, swinging a great sword underwater when they can just swim underneath you kind of sucks.
Well,
Did you enjoy your D&D last Wednesday? That's why you couldn't.
I did enjoy it.
They were asking me what were you what did you play as? Isn't that what you guys were asking me?
How do you roll?
Yeah.
I'm usually a druid, and I'm a druid with it's 5th edition, so I normally play 3.5. So I'm doing a druid and then a level 1 monk. So then you get unarmored defense in all of your wild shapes. So it ups your armor class to 16.
Crazy. I've only dabbled in D&D. It's just I don't have the patience for that kind of game.
Oh, come on, Ben. You're not hardcore enough then.
Nope, no, I'm not. I'm fine with admitting these things.
Well, have you ever played it?
I've played variations of it, and it's like all the other people, knew what they were doing, and I was kind of just farting around in college.
I played a little bit of Magic here or there, but I even gave up on that myself too.
Oh, man.
Never did D&D though myself.
There's a sanctioned Magic the Gathering tournament place down the road for me.
Sanctioned.
That's what Nate did for a job. He didn't you organize Magic cards or something?
Oh yeah.
His comic book store, his friend or whatever paid him to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's it's a game shop comic book place that
Okay. So, I think we kind of know what Frank's been up to. Fiddling with parts, cleaning the dungeon, and having a really creaky mouse, it sounds like.
Yes, we can talk about you now, Ben.
Oh, it's about time. I'd wait through all the bad stuff to get this. No.
And time for the news.
Oh, hush. Well, I've been busy. You noticed I put up a lot of blog posts on the site about our partnership with Udemy for their New Year's sale.
Yeah,
and
sure.
You're like, yeah, whatever. Oh man. Well, we mentioned it on the Minecraft show, but I figure we might as well talk about it properly here. They're doing a New Year's deal, first 10 days of 2016. They've got over 12,000 courses on sale for $10 each instead of their usual prices, which, that's pretty significant savings when they have some courses that go for $300. It's like, well, yeah. So I did a review recently of one of their courses. They sent me a coupon code to, review one for free, and I took it. I liked the course, and I wrote up my thoughts on it, and then I said, well, there's a few others that I was thinking about taking, and it's like, well, if it's on sale now, I might as well, throw $20 towards them rather than, spending $800 or whatever,
right.
whatever, so.
That seems logical.
Most logical, Captain. But yeah, I watched the one on Easy SEO for WordPress for the review, which, I've been using WordPress for a long time, so I figured I've dabbled with SEO stuff, but I didn't really know how to do it as a professional would, so I watched the lecture.
Professional would.
Okay, Franklin. Anyway, I watched that one, and I decided I bought one for setting up and maintaining, getting your first 1,000 followers on a mailing list, and then I also got one for social media, because I'm on social media, but I'm not exactly sure if I'm using the services right and how I can use them better promotionally. So, without being that guy. Because even on the SEO one, the guy was talking, he mentioned Twitter and Facebook briefly, and he's like, yeah, just don't be that guy. All you do is just blast out your stuff on Facebook and nobody cares. So.
Yeah, you ever get a guy who wants to be your friend or follow you, and you go to his thing, and it's all retweets, and I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that, and then you add him because he added you, and then it's like, hey, I saw you like my stuff, check out my website. You're like, oh.
Yeah, he's got that automated thing like, hey, thanks for joining me and being a fan. And then it's like, dude, I thought we were just internet friends. I didn't think we were trying to sell.
No, I'm not anymore.
Can't we just be friends?
Why can't we be friends? Anyway. So yeah, I've been working on on all the Udemy stuff. I was watching a course, the one on social media this evening. It's very well done. I mean, I linked it on the in my review. I linked in a few I was looking at, and so you guys can find it there. Wink. Read the blog.
Social media.
Well, you
About
know,
the most social that I've been lately is opening up my window.
well, let's be fair, Ian. You know, social media when it comes to like internet, it's like kittens on and Facebook relikes and stuff. It's not like I went out to a park and actually spoke to human beings or anything. But I'm trying to figure out if I'm doing it right.
Even then, like me, I barely even know that my own Facebook account is still active. I mean,
Oh, fun times, fun times. Anyway, yeah, I've been working on that. I've also, what's the order I was doing it in? I've got Monday's comic to work on. I've got topics listed. It's just I gotta actually sit and draw it. And the week is just like I stayed up on Wednesday night doing the Minecraft and chill, and so I slept in the next day, and then. It just seems whenever you wake up later in the day, suddenly everybody comes to you with all the stuff then. It's like, man, I miss mornings. It's like my dad needed me to help him get groceries and haul stuff around. And it's like, oh, I'm being the muscle of lifting all the groceries and running them through the checkout and all that stuff. Great.
yeah.
So, yeah. It's been trying to get my sleep cycle back in line. I tried out an app that was supposed to use your phone's microphone to detect like your sleeping pattern and then wake you up when you're in a light sleep rather than a deep sleep. And it's like turn your phone this way, screen down, and we can detect around snores and other noise. And it's like, okay, went to sleep, woke up about 10 in the morning. I'd set the alarm for 5, so I'm guessing it either didn't go off or I didn't hear it. And I was like, well. Not using this app then. Yeah. But yeah, I've got things to work on. I'm going to be revamping my site a little bit because there's some different. Like I want to. It's 2016. I want to move projects around a little bit and have it. The projects that I update show on the page as I update them better and integrate that stuff in better. Because right now I just have like a project list that sends you to other pages, and it's not the most, I don't know, it's not what I want to do, and I'm trying to decide if I want to use a plugin to make the projects appear on the homepage better, or if I want to use a whole different theme that integrates it all. But then if I do that, I don't know, I've been on this theme for a while, I kind of like it, but if half the stuff's, acting weird. Yes, Frank, you can go to sleep during this one, you don't have any comments.
You teased me about my nerdy-ass formatting talk. I figured I'd repay the favor.
Well, you're sitting there going, I want to get an extra terabyte back, so I had to go to this DTF or whatever. I don't know what format you're using. I just use macOS Journal or whatever.
I mean, to be fair, I was actually curious because I sat through all that shit with him, so I'm like, well, how do you fix it then?
I get it. You want to see the end result and what we did wrong. Yeah, I get you. It's just he messaged me this morning about it, going, "Hey, it says I'm on the wrong tab." I'm like, "Well, sounds like that's a."
He's like, "Oh, you might want to plug it in somewhere else," and I'm like,
"That's not what I said. I said that sounds like a complicated. That sounds like I need to take this and plug it into an interface and reformat it kind of thing." But when he told me that it was a system partition, I'm like, ooh, that's like a backup system restore kind of thing. I don't know if I'd mess with that. It might mess with the boot drive. And what do you know? Sounds like it did.
Yeah, well, the way they label the repair software on the Windows install thing, it looks like it's just fluff, like refresh, reset, and I'm like, fucking format and delete. Show me that stuff, because there was a format button, but it was grayed out. So I'm like, what the fuck do I do? And then like Ian's like, well, try unplugging the hard drive. So I had to open the case and I unplugged it. And I still had he was messaging me on Hangout, so it was on my phone. and I was using my phone as a flashlight to plug the drive back in, and I had it sitting on the desk as a flashlight, and he messaged me and it went, "Ugh," and it shook just enough to fall off the desk and go behind the fucking desk to where I thought I lost it, but since the flashlight was on, I could still see it.
Yeah, it was a nightmare for me, but I can only imagine how bad it was for Frank. So
I was actually, like I said, as long as I didn't already have a bunch of shit on, because I've reformatted and erased and redone this drive like 10 times already. I figured I'd have to. If I had all my games and shit loaded on it and lost all that, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
So
you have to download them again.
Oh yeah, I mean I could do it, but fucking hell, Windows takes forever to load, and then you, like, when I was building this PC, all the videos on YouTube, they're like, here's how I build a gaming PC. They spend 5 minutes building it, and they plug it in, okay, installing Windows, and then like, okay, 2 hours later, okay, now update the drivers, okay, now update Windows, then 2 hours later, now update the drivers again.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what I do. I sit and watch loading screens for 4 hours.
Enough with this hot tech talk, guys. Jeez.
I know. It's making my nipples hard.
No. Anyway. So.
Sorry, guys.
So I guess.
Well, you do. That's a nice thing about getting, having a Mac, where it's just plug and play. I know that's what you like, but.
Well,
Frank he wants the pure gaming performance, so you sort of have to build a custom computer to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I figured I knew I was going to have to tweak it, but it's what I wanted, and it's, because when Christmas time I was going to buy a machine, and my wife said, well, why don't you just buy a computer? And I'm like, I won't get what I want, and if I do, I'm going to have to pay an extra 30% to have some guy assemble the parts. So... But, oh yeah, I didn't tell you about the little conversation I had with a coworker Friday.
What did you do, Franklin?
No, I told Ben about it.
Tell the audience, they want to know.
He says that PCs are prehistoric and no one builds them anymore. It's all about consoles now. I'm glad you built yours, but it's prehistoric. No one does that anymore.
Is that true, Nate?
No.
Well, as soon as he said that, I go, Steam sells millions of games. They're selling them to somebody. And supposedly he told me he used to work at Dell assembling computers. But he doesn't understand a fucking thing.
Well, Franklin, does sound like it.
Well, like I told him I was going to build a computer. He goes, well, how do you know everything's going to fit together? I go, it's made to be compatible. ATX plus, ATX plus.
Mm-hmm.
But no, this thing really was easy to do. When what was it? Jay's 2 Cents had his daughter build one, and she did all the screwing and.
Really, that's not.
Turning.
Look, I know this sounds all hot and bothered and everything, but let's move on to the news. What do you say, Ian?
Oh, we have news. Okay.
What did you think this whole episode was going to be? Let's pat Frank on the head for how good his computer is. All right.
I thought so.
You thought wrong, dude. He's just trying to get the news music to load. The news with Ian. And then the high school football scores.
Ooh, I can give those because there's always football games down the road for me, and you can hear.
It's a joke, Frank. It's a joke, son.
Aw, man.
Alright, so, screen share with Ian.
I thought I was helping.
I'm helping. No, don't, he's allergic to peanuts.
What?
It's an not Aqua. It's a C Lab 2021 joke.
Hey, on the news. Oh.
No. That dejected Homer sound. Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, sandwich, I can't quit you. Right.
That's a Dixie cup.
Making 3D imaging 1,000 times better. Ooh. Ian?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there he is.
By the way, you didn't even hear what I said before. Anyway,
No, we didn't hear anything until Ben said, Ian?
No, you said you were trying to help, and I said, what were you thinking? And I said, then you're not helping.
Alright, so tell us about this story here, Ian.
I was just messing with you, though. Yeah, so this is about make 3D imaging 1,000 times better. Yeah, and it's about algorithms exploiting light's polarization-based boost resolution of commercial depth sensors 1,000-fold. MIT researchers have shown that by exploiting the polarization of light, the physical phenomena behind polarized sunglasses in most 3D movie systems, they can increase the depth resolution of conventional 3D imaging devices as much as 1,000 times. This technique could lead to high-quality 3D cameras built into cell phones and perhaps to the ability to snap a photo of an object and then use a 3D printer to produce a replica. Further out, the work could also abet the development of driverless cars. So, and there's a quote that says, "Today they can miniaturize 3D cameras to fit on cell phones," says Okuta Kadambi, a PhD student in the MIT Media Lab and one of the system's developers. But they make compromises to the 3D sensing, leading to very coarse recovery of geometry. That's a natural application for polarization because you can still use a low quality sensor and adding polarizing filter gives you something that's better than many machine shop laser scanners. The researchers described a new system which they call Polarized 3D in a paper they presented in the International Conference on Computer Vision in December. Kadambi is the first author, and he's joined by his thesis advisor, Ramesh Raskar, Associate Professor of Media Arts and Sciences in the MIT Media Lab. Boxen Chi, who was a postdoc in Raskar's group and is now a research fellow at the Rapid Rich Object Search Lab and Verge Task Mazing, and master's student at the Skolkovo Institute of Science and Technology in Russia, which MIT helped founded in 2011. Okay, and it describes some of the technology here. It says when polarized light gets bounced, if an electromagnetic wave can be thought of as an undulating squiggle, polarization refers to the squiggle's orientation. It could be undulating up and down or side to side or somewhere in between. Polarization also affects the way in which light bounces off physical objects. If light strikes an object squarely, much of it will be absorbed, but whatever reflects back will have the same mix of polarization that the incoming light did. At wider angles of reflection, however, light within a camera range of polarizations is more likely to be reflected. So, like, I have a polarization filter for my camera, my DSLR camera, and what it helps usually do is like it cuts out like reflections on things and like specular highlights. So like if you're taking a picture of like some water, it'll sort of cut out the reflection of the water, so you could sort of see what's in the water more, you know. Yeah. Says,
are you beatboxing there, Frank?
No, I'm hacking.
This means that for any surface in a visual scene, measurements based on polarized light offer two equally plausible hypotheses about its orientation, canvassing all the possible combinations of either of the two orientations of every surface in order to identify the one that makes the most sense geometrically in a prohibitively time-consuming computation. So, basically, it's gonna be neat. They're saying. Yeah, so like, I'm guessing that they'll be able to use this for like, if you use this type of technology with like the Xbox Kinect and like other, you know, like infrared sensors and stuff that capture depth.
Huh.
So like, and that's what this picture was here. They give you comparison depth from the Kinect, which is pretty rough, laser scanner depth, which is pretty decent, and then the polarization enhanced depth is like really fine.
Wow.
Kind of like me, really fine.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Like, and it is true. Like the Xbox Kinect, it's decent for like maybe for like a head or like other like organic forms. You know, like maybe a person, you know, with clothes on or something. But like for like hard edge surfaces with like a lot of right angles and stuff, like this pot thing here, or like a table or a chair or something, it doesn't usually look as good. Because it's so blocky, you know.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
It's beginning to look like 2015 and Back to the Future, not 2016.
Yeah, but the shark still looks fake. So anyway.
Well, no, that actually looked like the shark in Back to the Future when they go back to 2015. That's what that fucking cub looked like.
Anyway.
Yeah. A lot of this article just goes
into the technical specifics.
The technology and stuff.
Do you do a lot of rendering, Ian? I thought you said you did stuff like that.
What?
I forget. Don't you do like rendering or something, modeling, or?
Yeah, I do the modeling it by hand. I'm never.
Sculpting.
To, like, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought you did like
exactly.
the 3D render stuff and all that.
Well, like I'll sculpt and then like I'll make a 3D render of it or like an animation from it. Because what you could do is you could sculpt it on the computer digitally, and you can pretty much have the program take a snapshot of it or.
Gotcha. Was it you or Nate that really wanted a 3D printer? Or
both of them do.
Well, we both did. But
I was gonna say that dude Barnacles on YouTube. Every post of him was like custom made 3D printed this or that. Because you know, you buy a fucking 3D printer, you gotta get your money out of the son of a bitch.
Yeah. By the way, if you want to take a look, Nate, because since I don't have my TV working, that's the Kinect here. This is using laser 3D scanning, and then this is the one with the polarization enhanced.
And that's a red Solo cup.
It's like a pot or something. Here, do you want me to?
I'm gonna say that's more of a styrofoam cup, isn't it? Because
yeah,
it's
maybe.
got the two bands of rings on it.
Let me. First thing that came to my mind was the Solo cup. Let me look it up.
Well, the Solo cup only has like the one in the middle, doesn't it? Well, it's supposed to. The lines on a Solo cup are supposed to indicate.
Blocky sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Well, the lines on a Solo cup indicate how many different levels, like for
measure out
liquor
shots
up to different things like liquor, wine, You know, and most people are just top it off, dude.
Because you drink your classy, wines in your solo cups.
And then with that, that's a styrofoam cup because it looks like the rings are for grip. So.
Oh wow!
What?
People wear red solo cups for Halloween.
Yeah, I mean there's a big thing about if you make a cup that isn't an official solo cup, you still make it red so people associate it with the red solo cup. I mean, there's the Toby Keith song about it. It's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, that's the first thing that pulled up when I went to see if that's what.
Did you know in other countries they have red solo cup parties when they have American parties where everyone dresses up and tries to act like an American, and they have the red cups, and they're like, "Is that really a thing in America?" Like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, basically this will. I mean, you could pretty much we'll eventually have a Kinect in our phones. So, I mean,
that's crazy.
Oh man, great! So now we got another device that we got to protest that we don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't ask for this technology.
Yeah, you won't be a glass hole anymore. You'll be a Kinect hole.
Be like that scene in Snakes on a Plane where they're like, "Oh, so we need a camera, a computer, and an internet connection," and she's like, "This is all three. Shut up."
Yeah.
Anyway, interesting article. What's next on the news story?
Okay, this one is about. We're coming back to this Madden NFL litigation here.
Madden.
Supreme Court tackle its First Amendment issue in Madden NFL litigation.
This is the first time hearing of this.
Well, then you better listen then.
Well, you just said you were coming back to it. I'm like, oh, this is the first time hearing of it. And then I shut up.
We did it before. This is about them using
we
the
did
likeness
before,
of the
we'll do it
football
again.
players.
Oh, using
that
the...
one was about basketball
Yeah.
players, though. This one's about football players.
What is it, about the likenesses?
About them not paying for the likeness of them in video games.
Yeah, I thought this one we did was about the football players.
I thought it was about basketball players for an NBA player thing. Might have been. I mean, I watched it. I think I mentioned it before, but there was a last week tonight video with John Oliver where they talked about how college players they're students, so they can't be paid, and they don't get paid, so therefore they don't get royalties, and we mentioned it on a previous episode, but I thought it was for basketball. But go ahead, continuing.
Okay, it says Electronic Arts is making good on its year-old promise that it would fight to protect its stated First Amendment right to produce one of the world's most popular video games, Madden NFL, while using the likenesses of pro players without their permission. The video game maker has now rushed from the virtual gridiron, yeah, thank you, to the U.S. Supreme Court, where EA claims it is being punished for producing a game that looks too real. Electronic Arts has asked the justices to review a federal appellate court decision from last year that found EA cannot claim that the use of the players' images were incidental and covered by the First Amendment. We hold EA's use of the former players' likeness is not incidental because it is central to EA's main commercial purpose to create a realistic virtual simulation of football games involving current and former NFL teams. Judge Raymond Fisher wrote for the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The same San Francisco-based Federal Appeals Court in 2013 sided with NCAA college football players in their lawsuit against the EA, a ruling that resulted in a $40 million settlement. Some nice chunk of change.
That's it. Out of all the Madden games that they've used and all the people that they've used it for, and then that's nothing.
Well, probably not for them, but I mean, I don't know how that's going to get divided up and stuff, but
That's like action figure rights. If you make an action figure out of somebody, unless they're dead, you're not supposed to be able to use their action figure likeness unless they sell rights to you or you pay them royalties.
Right. Well, how much do you think they should have gotten, like, everything the company has? I mean...
Well, how many Madden games have they made?
I don't know.
since 1985, and then, well, let's see, how much did the people from Star Wars get for their action figures? It's about the same. So then you have to pay each individual player what their action figure likeness would be. So probably more than the company has. But they skipped out on it all this year's.
Well, that's what they would be sued for, but this is a settlement, though.
Yeah, but if you settle out of court, then, it doesn't become an official case trial, and then they can't use it to create new laws. That's why, if you were gonna settle, so they can't use it in further case things to help apply towards new cases, then, I wouldn't have settled for that, though. Because you gotta split it up between all the football players. Because they use their name and their likeness. They're not like Joe Montana, or it's like Joe Montana, and then it has his action figure likeness, or his likeness. But
well, the settlement isn't really what the article is about at this point, but this is more about them fighting back, I guess. So it says after the latest appellate court setback, the California-based gaming company vowed to appeal the NFL ruling. It says, quote unquote, "We believe in the First Amendment right to create expressive works in any form that relate to real-life people and events, and will seek further court review to protect it," the company said. The appeal to the Supreme Court is attracting widespread interest from academics, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and others. Among other things, the case is a collision of right of publicity claims against today's technology that allows for too realistic portrayals of people. At least that's how EA portrays the dispute. The expressive work at issue in this case is petitioner's professional football video game Madden NFL, which was alleged to include realistic depictions of respondents. Former NFL players. EA attorney Paul Smith told Justice in the Game's Makers petition PDF the Ninth Circuit held that the First Amendment offered no defense to respondents' right of publicity claims because the game's depiction of respondents was too realistic. It showed respondents engaged in the same activity, professional football, in which they had gained their fame. Smith added, according to the Ninth Circuit, the depiction of a person's image or likeness in an expressive work enjoys First Amendment protection against the right of publicity claim only if the depiction sufficiently alters or transforms a plaintiff's image or likeness. That rule is constitutionally perverse. It offers First Amendment protection only to fanciful or distorted portrayals, not accurate or realistic ones. The rule also chills expression, both because it is hard to predict what a court will decide is sufficiently transformative. I'm sorry.
Transformative.
And transformative. Yeah. Because such an inquiry inevitably requires a court to make a subjective judgment about whether a depiction is artistic, thus warranting protection, or literal and thus subject to liability.
Well, I mean, really, it goes on and on to case numbers, it sounds like, but it's like, realistically, their argument is, we reserve the right that we can take any person's likeness and use it in a thing portraying them and what they do, and it's totally free speech. No, that's stupid. The reason we have likeness, you have to license somebody's likeness is because it's their thing. You can't make, they can't develop...
They didn't endorse it.
It's like if they develop technology where they can have Harrison Ford's likeness play Han Solo in future CG movies, they gotta license that likeness from him. I mean, that's just a very simple thing. It's not that it's too realistic, it's because they want to use Harrison Ford in Star Wars. In order to do that, you need to compensate him for his likeness. And
so you're saying that if somebody got that new fancy technology we just did on the last article in your cell phone, and you 3D scan Harrison Ford while he was walking down the street, you're saying that it's set there so that somebody can't use what they scan in of him then?
If they want to call it Harrison Ford or one of the characters that he plays, that they can't do it. No.
Well, I mean, the argument is that they want to sell their game and make it as close to actually playing the game as possible. They're not selling Madden and then you just play football player number 1 through 9, whatever. You play this guy and this guy and this guy, and they're therefore very intentionally saying that they're wanting to use their likeness. I mean, it's not a matter of realistic. It's if you were even just drawing cartoon characters, but they had their names and looked enough like them, it'd be a case where you should compensate them. I mean,
yeah, it's getting to the point where it's so accurate you can tell who it is that they have to use the likeness. It's not like some software and stuff emulates stuff to where they have to use little code. Like I have my amp simulator. I have amps I can plug my guitar into the computer. I can't plug it in and click Marshall stack because Marshall hasn't endorsed that sound, but they have a marshmallow stack. It's cutesy.
Well, the thing is that this is the official game where they're officially saying play as, NFL. They're saying NFL with this year's roster and these people's names in the game, then pay the people their likeness.
If I can play as Manning better get some goddamn dollars for his face being on there. It used to be a thing if your face was on.
Well, you don't pay as Madden, Frank.
Ben, right?
You know who John Madden is.
Yeah, he's the
John Madden.
Well, he gets paid, right?
Well, it's his game. Of course he does.
Then how come the other players don't?
Well, he's not a player. He's the guy that...
If you played as John Madden, you wouldn't go that far.
It'd be like playing a game that's Bill Gates's whatever,
No,
you don't...
I'm saying, if they're paying one person, if they're paying for an announcer, then how come they're not paying for the players?
Because that's a lot of paychecks that they don't want to write, and if they think they can get around it by saying it's an artistic interpretation, guess what? Now it's a First Amendment issue, which is bogus. I'm sorry, guys. Come on.
Yeah, they're calling crap.
Let me ask you something, man. Just because I'm just curious, if somebody did 3D scan you in and then they made some kind of crazy, funny, video game of you that, sold millions of copies, do you think that do you think you yourself is an intellectual property?
Yes, you should. Your likeness is protected. They can't take your photo and Photoshop you into something and then use it to sell Armani. They can't do that because your likeness is protected. Yeah, it's just like any other copyright. You exist, and therefore you have right to yourself before, and they have to grant that right to you. They can't just pull down your photo off the internet and use it.
That's why, people like your Nana will see it and go, well, Ian's on the cover, so he endorses this product, so I'll get the Ian copy.
I mean, if you want to look back at, Hustler and the whole Falwell situation, it's
parody versus...
It's a matter of parody and what the common person would perceive, and with this, they're very obviously making a game where it says, play as these players. Well, then their likenesses should be compensated for. I mean, it's very...
Yeah, you can't buy a jersey without it being officially licensed through the NFL. So why the fuck?
If it looked like the players and it's not their name, then...
But it is.
But it is.
I mean, they're not just saying NFL Simulator and these characters kind of happen. No, this is NFL 20...
For the Brown team, you're playing the fucking Redskins versus the Seahawks or whoever the hell.
Right.
So anyway, I think we're all on the same page that this is kind of...
horseshit.
Yeah. It's like, if you want to make money off of somebody's, likeness and their name and what they did. I mean, if they were if they did, say, a Joe Namath thing, but he wasn't playing football, if he was just, playing a musical instrument or something, if it's unrelated to what they're famous for, well, yeah, that's a different thing. But it's still, if it's their likeness, that they kind of have to have, endorsement rights and everything. So, yeah.
Well, how far do you think likeness goes? Just how if their nose and eyes are similar? I mean,
No. This is Well, I mean, the thing is, Ian, it's a matter of are you writing off of something that somebody else did, and these people that played the games, they're like, you know what their likeness is because they played the game, they played these football games, and now you're seeking to make money off of that. If they made a game with me where I'm playing football, well, I was never in a football game. That's a creative thing, but they still got to get my likeness to use me. But if they just had, black guy, white guy model, and weren't labeling it as these are the actual guys from the football games.
Like if I wanted to make an Iron Man action figure, and then I'm like robot guy, and then you obviously know who he is, then I could probably be okay.
Right, so
as I have no logos.
So basically, then the likeness is just pretty much the name for the most part.
Well, I mean, it's just like it's a matter of they want to argue about it's too real. It's like, well, no, it's the argument of what you're trying to do with it. I mean, if this was like space football, if this was all space football game and they were all parodies of players, that'd be one thing. But no, this is players from that roster from that time. You're looking at it for that. Pay the people their likeness. Like if you want to make a game with Paris Hilton or the Kardashians or something, guess what? If you want to use their name and or their likeness, you got to pay for it.
Anything else anymore? Like there's a stupid Pitbull song where the guy says, "I've got it on lockdown like Lindsay Lohan." That's all he says. He name drops her for that. That's one phrase. She sued, and I think she got money from that. He's like, "Oh no, I wasn't dissing her. No, you used my fucking name. You made money off that song. Give me money." And that's.
Well, she also sued somebody else that was, described in a song that was like her, or something like that. And they're like, "There's a lot of chicks walking around with the chihuahua in the purse or whatever it is he referenced. I don't know." But it's like if it's very obviously who you're referencing and their thing. If you're trying to make money off of what they've done, usually you should probably begin their likeness unless you make it vague enough, So.
Or if they're dead, it's fine if they're dead.
No, not even then.
Well, I know that's what it is with action figures.
Well, yeah, but if you make an Elvis action figure, you're going to get his company. They're going to sue you. So, I mean, that's what happened with the Steve Jobs action figure.
Yeah,
Remember
they
that?
Lost.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
They lost it. They got sued, but they lost. Apple lost.
Yeah, but they still stopped producing the action figure, so they had some sort of settlement. Anyway. So got any further thoughts on this one, Ian?
No, I don't know. I guess if somebody like Photoshopped me and decided to make money off of it, it's just like I guess I just don't care about it as much as because I don't really work hard to be myself. That's just how I was born. So it's like
Yes, but Ian, if somebody photoshopped you into a game and it became the biggest selling game of all time, would you not want to see a penny of that?
You're making money and you're not getting money.
Or if it was, hey, here's the Ian Adams is a pedophile game, wouldn't you obviously want to sue about that? I'm just saying you
can play.
I would sue if they were saying that I was a pedophile, but like as far as making money off a game, I wouldn't care if my face was on there because I didn't do anything to deserve money. Like my face doesn't. God damn it! I don't work hard for my face to make me money.
I do.
If somebody puts my face on anything without my endorsement, yes, I would have come knocking on their door because
I believe you have my money.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not like that.
Yeah, you say that now, Ian, and then I'm just going to make an Ian plays a game, and then
I'm going to go out with Ian's face, and I'm going to
get one of those masks and just go out and commit crimes.
Yes.
And Ian didn't care. See, I can fondle this woman in public.
I don't care that I'm doing this crime.
Yeah.
No, you're generalizing into other stuff. I'm talking about just making money.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. If it's your likeness, go ahead. I mean, how would you feel if somebody took some of your artwork and decided to make money off of it without your consent? It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
No, not really, because I work hard for my artwork.
Okay, but
my artwork and myself are two different things.
Hold on, these football players.
I don't agree with that.
No, Ian. But these football players, every Sunday, they're on TV. Their face is on the TV, zoomed in, sweating and shit. Now, just like the fucking game. They're working hard to use their face. Granted, their body is what gets them there, but it's their likeness that people. Little kids want the Penny Hardaway jersey from fucking basketball. They want the fucking.
Everybody wanted to be like Mike. Think about it.
Yeah, they want that shit, and they work hard. Think about it. There's a reason they sell their shit at Foot Locker and not pay less. Other than
it becomes a part of like your like Michael Jordan. His likeness. Sure, it's all about his being on the basketball team and all that, but he's become a brand outside of just the team he played on, and he made more money with that, and that's good on him. But that's part of business. Like if he let whoever just make a Michael Jordan this or that and didn't compensate him for it, he'd lose all the copyright to it and go, well, everyone's making Michael Jordan jerseys and statues, and it doesn't matter. It's like you need to defend yourself and say, hey, if you're making money, and what if I'm out there poor on the street because your career, if you're a professional athlete, your career doesn't last past into your 30s, and all of a sudden all your money gets lost. You're kind of entitled to whatever you can make from it, man.
So if I put out an Oprah magazine with her face on the cover, she can't sue me? She's not on TV anymore. She doesn't use her face to get money, right? Is that a valid argument?
I don't know. I think the difference that we're both having here is that, like, I think your brand is, like, your work, like my actual physical artwork. And you think you're saying that your brand is
you're part of your artwork because you're the person that makes that decision. And when someone thinks of Ian Adams and you think of one of your 3D sculptures, they also think of your face wearing your outfit and your voice and the different things that you do.
Exact example. 2 words. Von Dutch. What comes to mind?
I don't know.
the bullshit flying eyeball on a pair of jeans, right? And the trucker hats, that's all you think of? Do you think of what the artist did as a pinstriper? Do you think of his motorcycles he built? Do you think of the knives and guns he built? None of that shit matters. You just think of the fucking name, and you don't even know what the guy looked like. If I showed you a picture of him, you wouldn't fucking know. Tommy Hilfiger, just the name. What you do. If someone's cashing
all that stuff is going to surpass you, though, probably. You're going to remember it for your work.
Well, that's the thing, though. Von Dutch, if you Google him, you'll find maybe a couple of pictures of his pinstriping, even though that's what he was known for. But his name is actually mostly you'll find jeans and T-shirts.
Well, I mean, here's an interesting thought, guys. Like, if there are plenty of bands that they had an iconic singer, and Nirvana even after Kurt Cobain died. You think they're going to get another singer and tour as Nirvana, or do you think it's that's over?
Sublime. Remember?
Yeah. Sublime.
After Brad died, they toured as Long Beach Dub All-Stars. They said, we're going to tour as Sublime. And his widow said, no, you're not.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of things to consider, and it's all part of the thing. I mean, there are bands like think of Angus from AC/DC going out in his schoolboy outfit. That's a part of what they do. Yes, they have their songs and everyone loves their songs, but if you see them live and he's not wearing that schoolboy suit, you're like, this isn't right. This isn't part of the thing.
Guitar Hero had was it Guitar Hero? They had you could play as Kurt Cobain without licensing any of that, and they're like, no, we don't want him to sing a pop hit.
No, it's like the Star Wars Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo.
No, that's an MC Chris song.
But I think the separation of thought that we're having is the fact that I tend to be more of a person that's just happy with being behind the scenes, and I actually prefer being faceless.
But it's not all about you.
It's I mean that's fine for you and your influence, but I guarantee you, if somebody takes a photo of you and makes a game with it and it sells millions of dollars, you will care about it.
Okay.
And
okay,
I would say good job being able to do something with it.
Okay, Ian, did you see that stupid Tom Cruise movie, Show Me the Money? Jerry Maguire.
Money Pit? Oh, Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire, did you see that?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, the part where Cuba Gooding Jr., the actual Show Me the Money scene, he's like, Jerry, I've got 4 or 5 good years, and then, because they're playing until they either get a concussion, they break something, they're totally fucked. So these guys, have lives, usually something bullshit, and, their whole families are fucked, and they're trying to make a living for their family because they're going to be a vegetable or crippled, and they got to make their millions while they can. Madden is he's an old player who actually ended up being a coach and then making money with this fucking line of shit he has nothing to do with anymore other than his name. He got lucky. But, I mean, all the other, players, I mean, it's, hell, I mean, your legacy and all that shit sounds great and, smart and everything. We've had presidents that, before they decided to pay them after they left office, that became homeless and died, I mean, your legacy isn't all you got left. I mean, eventually you're going to die and your kids are going to be fucking hungry, and if you work hard and your people can use your image and they make money and your family has not seen a dime out of it, I hate to tie this back to pinstriping. My other artist I really like, Ed Roth, he made Ratfink. As a pinstriper, every place I've been, you could paint Ratfink at a charity auction because they're like, you're giving it away for the kids. But if you sell it with, your name on it, without being licensed by his family, he made a whole copyright thing about it and said, this is for my family's future. I know I'm not going to be around forever, he's dead now. But, I want them to be supported by my work, my creations, and anybody who makes money off of it is going to pay my family some money. And that's where it should be. I mean, if that's, if you have a family, who knows?
Yeah.
We can't just go by, I mean, I know you're single. Up until 5 years ago, I was single. I mean, then there's people with, what was the dude from Wu-Tang Clan, got 13 kids? And he was up when the album ODB when the album dropped, he could still get food stamps. And he went and picked them up in a limo. So it's you never know, but I mean they might as well fucking pay for it while if they're making money off you, they're not hurting. I haven't played a Med game since like '96, and I can still tell you who the fuck John Madden is. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry to rant.
I'm definitely not arguing like the legality of this because obviously it looks like that
it's shady.
That it is shady and that they're, like with their likeness, they do deserve money. Then I'm just saying, for me personally, it's not as much of a big deal.
He's saying I don't need to be shown the money, and I say, show me the money, motherfucker.
Ian's sitting there going, I'm not a sellout. I don't always need money when people do things around me. I can work my way up because I'm a hardworking American, which is what plenty of people do who don't request what they need because they think they're like, oh, I've got standards and like I've got I don't always need to seek this stuff. I was like, you deserve to get paid for people using your likeness just like anybody else, man. I mean,
so you're saying who you are matters. That's the moral of the story.
Well, I mean, the thing is that you don't know what you can go be famous for. It's like, there's plenty of people who work their entire life. Think about like the guy who made Monster Mash. That was his hit, and he rode that into a nice, cozy retirement with his one song. And imagine if he just said let other people copy it and was like, oh yeah, I don't mind if other people do that. No, that's his gig. That's what he made his living on. It's like, you don't know, you never know what's going to connect with people and what's going to take off. And if it takes off, hey man, get that, and then you can safely, ride your creative passions and painting on the beach with mimosas, whatever you do, into your retirement, as long as you make sure you get paid.
Facebook, it's like, I'm an artist. No, I don't work for free.
Well, that's the thing we should have brought up on I should have added to the news. Did you guys see the Old Navy situation recently? Yeah, let me just Google that. You heard it, Ian?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to paraphrase it real quick while I find a nice link for it. Old Navy, people make performance feasts and other things. Okay. So, Old Navy, they put out a number of kids' sweaters and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And let me just share the link with you, Ian. Where Old Navy put out these sweaters discouraging people from being an artist. Basically, the gag was young aspiring artist, and then they crossed out artist and wrote astronaut or president. And that backfired hard on them on social media, with artists going, "Excuse me? I know you think you're being cute, but no."
Cute.
Yeah, there's been a lot of parodies of it made by artists who crossed it out and said, former, a young aspiring Old Navy customer crossed out artist.
Yeah. Fuck that. You can be a fucking artist.
Yeah. So,
well, as long as it's not theater.
Oh, Franklin.
I know a lady, her son's going as an art major. I said, "Oh, he's an art major? My brother's an art major." He's like, "Yeah, he's into theater." I go,
There's money in theater if you're good and you have representation in all these different ways.
"Yeah, I bet he's going to California to become an actor. Hope you like waiting tables."
It's a hard road to plow, just like any other creative field.
It's a long way to the top. That's all I can do before we get licensing.
Anyway, yeah.
Next news story.
Next news story with Ian.
Sorry to take up so much time on that, fellas.
Oh, it's a deep philosophical one. That's why it takes up time.
Alright.
Okay, this one is about Disney animators launching contract negotiations.
Oh, there's still animators at Disney?
There's the rim shot.
Alright.
Okay, the Walt Disney Co. and the union representing about 550 feature film animators and writers will launch contract negotiations this week on a successor deal to the current master contract. The current 3-year contract has been extended from its October 31st expiration at Disney's request. The talks are scheduled to take place on Wednesday and Thursday, and then recess on January 5th. Disney animators are represented by the Animation Guild, which operates as Local 839 of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. The contract, also known as the Secret Lab contract, dates back to 1999. The Animation Guild contract covered work performed on Frozen, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, and upcoming Zootopia, which opens in March, but it does not cover films shot by Disney's Pixar division, which was acquired by Disney in 2006 for $7 billion and remains a non-union operation. In August, members of the Animation Guild ratified a 3-year successor deal to its master contract with producers at several of the other studios, including Warner Brothers Animation, DreamWorks Animation, and Sony Pictures Animation. The agreement, which covers about 3,000 animators and writers, included 3% annual wage increases to contract minimums, a 10% pension increase, and 30% increases for contribution hours. The Writers Guild of America West covers TV animation at Fox, including The Simpsons and Family Guy. So, yeah. So I guess there's some meetings going on and talk and stuff.
Show me the money!
Well, it's like, Frank, I liken you back to a video series I watched before called F You Pay Me. They're like, oh, we got so much money. Whatever, F you pay me. I don't care what your deal is.
Well, with you being an animator yourself and, just like we were talking about on the last article, usually, in most cases, you'll usually side with the employee or the animator, huh?
Well, I mean, that's been my usual opinion, is that I know that big faceless corporations can tend to screw people over, so their workers need to have the good things written into their contracts protecting them.
Yes.
I am a believer in unions.
Me too.
What do you think about unions, Nate?
They're good, except that they screw the workers over by making them pay exorbitant amount of union dues, and sometimes when they have good contracts with the unions, they have a good contract to begin with, and the union wants to sneak in there so they can take union dues out, but they're needed.
I believe that it's a good thing to have, conversation and representation between employees and employers, because otherwise you get into sweatshops.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's best to have representation. So yeah.
No taxation without representation.
Yeah.
That's going
Anyway.
out the window.
So yeah, I'm interested to see what comes out of the negotiations. So. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a lot of workers.
They'll probably just stall for as long as they can and take it. Oh wait, is it already all the way up to the Supreme Court?
No, it's
negotiations.
It's
negotiations.
It's negotiations between the company and the union right now. So.
Well, then they'll probably just bribe the union.
Well, I imagine they'll probably end up just using the same previous contract, but I'm sure the union will want, a few new things added, and I'm sure Disney will want a few new things, and it'll probably have some variations. Yes?
This reminds me of this.
What, Frank?
I was talking about the last story.
Oh boy, Franklin.
Oh, you mean with the NFL?
Yeah, but we'll quit talking about that.
I don't know what was going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well,
all right.
Well, Frank, to be fair, I don't think Disney's the ones who have over-marketed Star Wars. I mean, dude, I told you I took a photo one time of a Star Wars, I think it was Clone Wars fishing rod, and I was walking away out of the store, and then I had to turn around because I saw a picture. I saw a Star Wars fishing rod, and I said, I've got to take a picture of that because there's no reason for this product.
Oh, are you talking about the Star Wars oranges, or the Star Wars baked beans, or the Star Wars,
No, the sphere robot thing.
Oh.
That you control with your smartphone.
BB-8. BB-8.
You don't have that yet.
Oh,
okay, so in the new Star Wars movie...
No spoilers. So in Star Wars there's oranges, huh?
I would see you paying something for that, though. I mean, heck, you paid, the same amount of money for a Pip-Boy.
Oh, he bought a Pip-Boy?
$100 for a Pip-Boy with the case and a video game in it. It's totally different.
An overpriced...
several times.
Overpriced phone case.
Other toys.
Anyway. Moving away from Frank's
I guess it's
clickbait.
not collectible, though, probably.
Moving away from Frank's clickbait, let's talk about the next news story. DreamWorks Animation wins big Kung Fu Panda lawsuit. Oh, yeah. You probably, have you heard about this, Frank?
Apparently not.
All right, I'll let Ian share. It's his story.
Yeah, well, the sub-headline here is, on the verge of a trial, artist Jamie Gordon suddenly withdraws his claim that his work was stolen to make the OA blockbuster. DreamWorks Animation can rest more easily. The studio was staring at a potential trial later this year over artist Jamie Gordon's claim that DWA stole his work to create Kung Fu Panda, which grossed $630 million worldwide at the box office.
I bet they just bribed him.
No, actually, just keep listening to the story, Nate. It gets better.
And spawned a sequel. Unlike many other copyright plaintiffs, Gordon had the rare fortune of surviving a summary judgment motion in April, setting up the potentially big showdown in a Massachusetts federal court. But on Tuesday, Gordon suddenly backed off. He agreed to dismiss his case with prejudice, meaning it can't be brought again, and according to court documents, he will get no settlement money. The dismissal papers also make clear that he got no compensation of any kind. So what happened in the lawsuit, Gordon said he developed the Kung Fu Panda property in the 1990s, and his work featured a Kung Fu fighting giant panda which likes to eat his companion, a rare small red panda who also is a Kung Fu fighter, and a Kung Fu fighting supergroup known as the Five Fists of Fury that consists of a tiger, a crane, mantis, monkey, and a venomless snake.
That sounds like a legitimate claim if he made it in 1990 and...
Just keep listening, Nate.
It says
hold on.
Impressive was his 2000 copyright registration and the side-by-side comparison that was offered in his complaint. Here's a look. So this is, I'm guessing, so this is the 3D, and then this is what he drew.
Well, that's what they actually. That's the Pixar one, and then that's the one.
That's not Pixar, Frank. It's DreamWorks.
Okay, it's the fucking cartoon versus his little doodle.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's about the storyline. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it looks like crap.
That's, again, guys, wait, listen to what else Ian has to bring for us.
Okay. Gordon maintained that his work was original. For example, in a deposition in May 2012, he was asked whether he ever took elements from other people's cartoons. No, I wouldn't say I took elements. No, he responded. And then, well, so your works are all original and aren't based on any pre-existing cartoons by anybody else, the defendant lawyer asked. Gordon responded, I grew up drawing a lot of different cartoon characters, so how I interpret things or something down the line, but no, not directly. I didn't directly take elements from something, no, not that I was ever aware of. Well, lawyers for DreamWorks believe that they discovered otherwise. The team from Lieb was about to submit a motion to dismiss the case based on uncovered evidence of a 1996 Disney coloring book they believe was obviously traced by Gordon, and they had their own side-by-side presentation handy, and they had a 1996 coloring book, and then Gordon's, what he registered.
Yeah. Wow.
Wait, when was Kung Fu Panda made?
Oh, wait.
2008?
Yeah.
Yes.
But
08.
But then they had a Disney coloring book of Kung Fu Panda?
No, it wasn't Kung Fu Panda.
No, if you look, that's the Lion King's Timon or whatever.
Yeah, so he
used a drawing model of them to make his character, to make
no,
the basis of it.
Look at him. Look at the fucking thing. It's not a model. He just added a badge and some shit around the eyes.
And then, the article that I read this on also said that after he saw an early trailer for Kung Fu Panda, went back and took his original submission for a panda story and changed the characters so that they matched the panda characters more closely. Like the character that he was saying was like Poe, the Jack Black character, was originally very smart in the original submission that he registered. Oh, but then when he resubmitted it, he made the character very, very fat and liked to eat and be lazy, and a lot of other similarities that, I think he was trying to do this.
So he made his case up and he didn't think it looked good enough, so he
made it closer to their...
He made it look like
Did he still beat them to the copyright, is what my question is.
No,
No. Okay. Did he submit the copyright for the Kung Fu Panda before?
It wasn't the Kung Fu Panda at the time. He made it all.
So did he make his and then did he copyright it before the movie?
No, he registered a panda story, and then after seeing an advanced trailer for the Kung Fu Panda, he changed it, and that's when he added that belt and the mask and stuff.
Yeah, these fuckers look like these look like Ninja Turtle pandas.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen other drawings, and they say it's very obvious that he traced the Disney character, so therefore he doesn't have copyright to that. That's just a tracing of a Disney drawing. Yes. And then 2, he went back and resubmitted it with changes mentioning kung fu and stuff like that to be able to have this case in the first place.
Bamboo in the original one.
So
he didn't even fucking make the bamboo.
Pretty much, he's busted.
Yeah,
I know. It just there's a lot of inventors, and with the telephone, for example, there was 2 inventors and they had the same exact device, and the other inventors had a better invention, but the other person beat him to the copyright, and that's...
No, this guy, well, for one, he can't register that because that's basically a tracing of the Disney drawing. Yes. And then he changed it after his original 2000 registration of the Panda story. He changed the characters to be more like the movie to cause this kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, so he ripped something different off from him, and then he tried to change it.
He ripped them off and ripped somebody off, and then he
decided to use it to rip somebody else off.
He ripped them off, and then he decided to make it look like someone else was ripping him off because he was ripping them off.
Well, he was ripping off Disney, and then he thought he'd change it to make it look like DreamWorks was ripping him off. So, yeah.
And they found it out.
And that's why he was like, I dismiss all this. No, and now he's facing jail and a nice big lawsuit for all of the fraud he's just tried.
Yeah, you can't. Is that embezzlement at that point?
Well, it's fraud and an attempt. I mean, basically fraud because he made up all this bogus stuff. And it's like when you try to screw people up.
Like, actually, you ripped off somebody else, and then you said that your idea looks like our idea.
Yeah. Well, if this would have went to court, it wouldn't have mattered if this evidence is that rock solid, and that it would have been over pretty quickly. Then they probably wouldn't have had to pay the lawyers too much.
Fucking hell, he traced the shit out of this. Look at the ear, the knot.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. It would all this stuff. It would, like, if it went to trial. I mean, if it went to trial and this got brought in, they could, just as they're doing now, they could very easily sue him back and get him in prison for committing all this fraud, because it's very obvious he was just trying to get a paycheck out of this. So
yeah. Well, he withdrew from the case, so it's like he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar.
Well, he wanted to withdraw from it, and now, as I hear, DreamWorks is trying to decide what they want to do with it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's fraud. They tried to get money. He tried to get money out of him. So yeah, they're gonna.
They're not only doing this to get him. They're doing this to prevent other people from trying to do the same old shit. And I think that's a good move on their part, because they got the money to do it. He thought he could take on a big corporation. Now he's really gonna have to take on a big corporation. That's hilarious.
I love this. This
is so. Look how bad the tracing is. Like, it's literally just like he changed the ears, he added fangs, and the fucking bear, he just, like, the knot where the bandana ties, he just, like, added the bottom line. There's already a space for it on the other.
Anyway.
That's bad.
It's a good thing I wasn't a judge there, because then I'd be like, it's fucking Kung Fu Panda. I don't care.
They don't care that you don't care.
Okay. So anyway, Ian's last news story.
This one, now that we did an article about 3D scanning, here's an article about
3D printing. Oh man, the ink toner's running out.
Am I talking about what?
Oh, that one, yeah. I read about that.
Yeah, the new 3D printer makes models out of paper, ink, and glue.
Yeah.
And it could do highly detailed color representations on the surface also.
They've got a cooler one now. It's a metal 3D printer.
Nate's his holy grail is a metal 3D printer.
It uses thin sheets of metal, and then it uses sound to bond the pieces of metal together. And then it uses CNC to make it look a little better.
You just get all hot and bothered when you think about metal 3D printing, don't you, Nate?
Well, I think it'll be good because they have metal 3D printers, but they're not affordable.
Right.
I like it when technology that is super expensive becomes affordable.
Yeah, I guess that's good then.
Alright, so about this new 3D printer here.
It says, most 3D printers use molten plastic to create real-world objects from digital instructions. Core's ARC printer at CS 2016 takes a different, more traditional approach. It uses paper
And ink.
like that boring old printer you have at home, but creates 3D objects by cutting and gluing together layers of paper. The results are impressive. The Core Arc has a maximum printing resolution of 4800 by 2400 dpi, which is higher than most regular 2D printers. The printer works by placing sheets of paper on the printing platform and cutting them down to form individual layers of the final object.
Yep.
It's the same approach other 3D printers take with plastic, building one layer at a time. The difference here is that the ARC applies color as it goes and each layer is glued to the previous one. Paper is thin too, meaning the detail of the final object can be incredibly high.
Oh yeah.
This offers several advantages over standard plastic printing. For one, the final paper object actually looks finished. This saves you from using a separate process to apply color to your plastic model. Even printing with 2 or 3 different colors of plastic requires a complicated and expensive printer. The ARC printer is also completely safe to have in an office environment because it's just using paper, ink, and glue. Many 3D printers that pump out plastic need special ventilation. If you don't need a model created by the ARC anymore, you can just toss it in the recycle bin. Yeah. One notable drawback here is that the ARC is making models. They're paper rather than plastic or metal, so you won't have an object that you can use for anything. It's being targeted mainly at schools and offices and will be available in the first half of the year for a cost of $59.95.
$6,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I
5
could
easy
see-
payments.
I could see that being interesting though if like you did like stop motion with it or something. Just have
It's
some
similar
really,
to the sandstone printing, which is nice.
you know.
Yeah. Well, they said like it's probably good for decorative pieces, so like, but
And,
nothing.
Rapid model 3D prototyping.
Like if you want to do like a nativity scene or something, you know, with a real quick, you know, thing. I could see it. It looks. I think it'll find its niche.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to be using it for gears and stuff and other.
Yeah, you're not gonna make
functional
a
stuff.
phone case with it, but if you want to make a 3D model of like the picture showed earlier, a house and some other cool shit.
Yeah. My question though is like, I understand it could print on the piece of the paper or whatever, but like, how does it get the ink on the sides of the thing so that the sides of each layer are like a different color too?
Well, they can do that with printers. I mean, if there are books that are printed that'll have like each side, they'll have a thing so you can write on the edges of the paper, or even fold the thing and see an image in it. Yeah.
It actually does it on the top of the layer, and then it cuts it right at the edge where it would be printing. So then you break off the piece of paper, like it cuts it to the point where it's almost broken off. So you just like kind of, like snap the excess piece of paper off, and then you see the edges, and then because our eyes aren't good enough to see the gaps in between the thin layers of sheets of paper, it glues the individual piece of paper together, and it looks.
It's kind of like,
really nice.
have you ever bought a book that had like the edges of the paper had that gold look to it, but then the pages themselves were white? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You see a lot of Bibles do that and stuff.
So I wonder, I wonder how many sheets of paper this thing can hold at a time, because it's got to take like lots of paper.
Oh yeah.
I bet you it could use just like a rim and just roll it out.
I honestly think the ink and everything, the ink plus the paper will cost more than the plastic would cost, because ink can be like $40, and then all the reams of paper.
Yeah. Well, they also said it's going to be slower than the plastic also.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's thinner modeling. I mean, it's more finer detail, though.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, because the sandstone... Have you guys ever seen those create your own action figure thing that they have?
We talked about it on
so
a show, yeah.
Yeah, that's sandstone printing.
Mm.
Yeah, the problem with the sandstone is very brittle.
Yes, that is true.
The lady said that the paper, though, like the models, like she had like a hammer model or whatever, and she said it was pretty strong, but I still would imagine that that would be brittle as well.
Yes, somewhat. It's because, like, have you ever seen, like, the cheap bulletproof vests?
Yeah.
And they just stack layers and layers of, like, thin cloth material together, and then it becomes bulletproof?
Yeah.
It's the same concept, but it's paper.
It's a bundle of sticks, Ben.
Uh-huh. So anyway...
But it's interesting nonetheless. Like I remember we did the one about the glass 3D printer that was able to melt glass down, and it was doing it layer by layer. It actually looked like honey coming out.
Ew.
I saw a picture somebody posted on Facebook. They're like a whole bunch of old toys that are very, very dangerous to look at now, and they had a glass blowing kit for kids. It's like, whoa!
Well, hell, those...
Yeah, you're gonna have to make sure there's some parental supervision there, huh?
Remember those balloon kits that they still sell at dollar stores sometimes? It's like a straw with rubber to make a fucking balloon. What's to keep a kid from just sucking that rubber down?
I think the straws are like designed to be one way only, so something like
What's
that.
to keep them from eating the fucking rubber?
Well, what's to keep kids from eating anything, Frank? So
the label that says "Do not eat."
Anyway,
Contents may be hot.
so now is it time for me to share some of my news stories?
What's he carving out of here? You could just tell me.
Oh, no, that's the 3D printer. He's breaking it off. It comes off as like a full sheet of paper he wants eating out.
So is that Austin Evans hanging out with Linus?
That's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, Linus was doing a lot of coverage of the CES.
Austin's a douche.
Anyway, my news story. I actually found a clip that I think they were at CES talking about it. But would you like me to introduce my news stories, Ian?
Oh no.
If we must.
If we must, we must. But this first story, the first one I thought I'd mention it for you guys because it's a techie one, and that's the story from this other link is where I first found it. It was from Tested, Jamie and Adam, their site. They did a hands-on with it.
What? I didn't think Jamie had anything to do with it.
Well, it says on the page, Jamie and Adam. I'm sure they just want his name there.
Every video I've ever seen is Adam Savage and some other guy.
If you look at their site, the thing says Jamie and Adam and then Tested. Okay, that's all I'm going on. I know what you're saying, Frank. I'm not arguing with you, but that's how they're branding it.
I know how they market it.
I'm just saying I'm not arguing with it because I don't care. I'm not their manager.
Trying to get you.
Frank's pushing up his glasses with one finger. If you read the example and page. Anyway,
no, I'm saying in real world context because
I'm saying it. I don't give a damn, Frank. That's not the topic here.
Carry on, sir. Carry on.
Anyway, I saw a tested video for it on YouTube where live stream. Sit down and shut up, Frank. I'm gonna have you derail my conversation. So, live stream are putting out the Movi 4K camera. And it comes with an app because it's a 4K camera, but it lets you use it as like a multicam. So you can with the app as like a camera studio app. You can tell it if you have a panel of 4 people talking. You can tell it cut to this person, and it'll let you zoom in, and it'll capture no less than 720. I think they said in the video. And also it has that big red thing that's the mic on it. And they can set that, because it uses like a certain kind of laser to direct the mic. If you decide to just focus on one person, it'll direct right at them. So, yeah, I thought this seemed interesting. They were saying that the camera will be $400, $399. I know. And they were talking about, they're like...
the first Apple TV.
It's a camera, Frank, but it's a
okay,
4K
my
camera.
old fucking Sony CyberShot. The fucking viewfinder is bigger than that goddamn thing.
And yet it does 4K, Frank. You're missing the point. Isn't it kind of a thing that you want it to be small?
$4K monitor.
Okay, so
Well,
and then I've just got a couple other places that did.
What's the thing with this? Is this like, is it because it's so high resolution you could just zoom in and then crop onto the different people in their place? Or?
Well, they've got the camera app for it, and they were showing it in that tested video where the guy was saying that you could basically be the example they had was you'd be filming people speaking at a panel, and you'd have like 4 different people, and you could tap a person, it would recognize the faces with the face recognition stuff, and would just crop to them at 720. You can zoom in.
Yeah, because 4K is literally what 4 times the whatever. It's math.
Well, it's 4 times 1080p pretty much. And
yeah, so they had 4 of those.
So you can do, you could do 4 720s at no fucking problem.
Let's see, make sure
you
I got all
probably do
the.
8.
So there was the
let me bust
video.
out a calculator here and get the math going.
Well, I just
Where
thought
my nerds at?
they say that you can buy right now. You can pre-order the camera for $199 for just the camera, but they've also got a bag of that comes with different things. Like there's that thing is I think the tested video. They've got it on a stand. There's a number of different things you can use that come out too. I think they said it's going to be like $7.99 with the full kit, but you can buy the full. You can pre-order the full kit for $3.99 while they were at CES, I think, and that was January 6th. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought it would spark conversation with you guys.
Okay, well, for a smart conversation, let me push up my glasses here. I just did the math. If it's 4 times 1080, that's 43 something. If you divide that by 720, you can have 6 faces on that motherfucker.
Well, I mean, they show it. He shows it on the thing is though that you can stream and record at the same time. But when the guy was asking him like, so does it only save the edited video that you film when you're filming it, or does it save it at 4K and then you can edit? He's like, well, the way we're marketing it is that it's the live camera option, so that you can use this instead of having multiple cameras on one set. You can just have you can have it all come in at 4K on your. You see a version on the phone app, and then you just tap around so it's to trigger it. So theoretically, I guess you could film a whole event in 4K and then edit it down. But they're stressing this is for having a multicam setup with just one camera. Yeah,
it's like a ease of use.
Yeah, and right now they say of course it's going to work on live stream because they're the ones that are making it, and then they're also going to be supporting options to export the videos you save to things like YouTube and Twitch and stuff. Then
I can't wait till the knockoffs come out and this fucking thing ends up turning into like the Flip Neo.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure, if is it supposed to be really wide angle, so has a wider field of view, so you could fit more people on there, and it's so high resolution.
I think it's just a higher resolution, because if you look at all the screenshots, it looked like there was no more than 3 or 4 people within a shot.
I mean, I recommend checking out the video of the guy explaining it.
In this picture, the video that's on that phone, if you've ever been at a concert, you have to be within 3 feet of those fucking people to get all those people in there. Because if not, they're ants, and you get the entire stage. So,
oh man,
those dudes holding up their cell phones. One of them is holding up this fucking thing and filming all these people.
Well, I bet you it is got it's probably pretty wide though, so you could be closer up to or something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I just think it's an interesting bit of tech from the looks of it, and I'd like to see the competitors coming out.
Oh man, we're gonna have Kinects in our pocket and 4K cameras that can spit out streaming.
Well, I mean,
oh man,
the nice of
Back to the Future. This shit is cooler.
I mean, there's for things like Twitch and I've been planning on doing streams later. I've got Frank and we've talked about OBS and doing things with the streams and stuff. And you can do multiple sources and stuff, but with a camera like this, granted, I have no need for multiple cameras, at one time capturing 4K. I don't really have the reason for it. But, you know, for that price and capturing a 4K and you can just zoom back and forth, like I could just have like all of us in a room talking and have my iPhone and go, doop, focus on me, doop, focus on you, and doop, focus on Frank.
Could you imagine if you did combine this with like those cameras that can do like 360 degrees, so like if you have people all around you, and then you could just crowd.
Oh, like that old Van Halen video.
Well, that's how they capture the VR things, isn't it? They capture 360
like
and then
the
they
YouTube
just
videos and stuff.
Yeah.
They're doing now.
Speaking of VR,
oh no,
did anyone see the Oculus Rift?
What do you mean see it? We've been talking about it for a while, Frank.
Well, what was the new thing they had about that, about the CES now? It was like,
it's on for pre-order right now. They have a new version of it. It's wireless.
It's only 1/10 the cost of that fucking 3D printer, guys.
What? I'll buy 2.
No, 10 of them.
Okay, so
what is it, like $3,000 or $100?
Well, the 3D printer was $6,000.
The 3D printer is $6,000.
$600.
1/10 of that is how much?
They want $600. Seriously.
That's cheap.
well, I mean the regular wired model that was kicking around was like what, $300. So for a wireless one so for a wireless one that's not really that big of a jump.
No, like you can get a wireless HDMI thing, and for like
HDMI.
Well, yeah, and you can also get the Google Card. You can also get the Google Cardboard and that new ViewMaster thing that goes on your phone. You can get. Oh well.
Well, they have $99 alternatives right now.
Yeah, but how do they compare to the Oculus though? That's the argument.
Pretty similar, actually.
They're similar, but which one's going to be the higher quality product? I don't know. We don't have the Oculus yet.
Yeah, we're looking a lot more into streaming, because we've been doing Minecraft and chill, and that's been the main reason I got a fancy new rig for my games, so I can. That's why I got the A350 processor, because it's more for streaming than just for gameplay.
I know somebody, and they have one of the developers kits, and like basically, if you should turn your head too much, it lags so much, like you want to throw up.
Yeah, that's another thing I saw in the videos.
Well, I mean, I've heard that had been a thing with. I mean, they've had different developer kits too. There was the Model 1 developer kit, and then there's the Model 2. Make 2. Yeah, and then there's been like different software ones out there. I mean, plus that's also a user-sensitive thing. I mean, some people just can't do VR. So
right, absolutely.
We are VR.
Hey Frank, you wanna go over the specs of your computer again?
No, he doesn't. Don't even tempt him, Ian. I will come over there and I will kick you in the nuts. All right. So
the thing about tested is.
So moving along to my next news story I thought I'd drop in here. Charlie Kaufman and Duke Johnson talk Animalasia. Or Animalisa? I don't know.
This was the other one that you had.
So yeah, those were my other links for the thing there. But this one is a stop motion film for an adult story. So, I mean, it kind of looks like something you'd see in a George Clooney kind of movie.
I was gonna say, like the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Well, no. You see the screenshots, Frank? So, you know, they say that it's very minimal sets and very intricate changes and stuff. I mean, you can see there's a shot of the guy, you know, moving the puppets. But they talk about it in the interview where they're like, you know, we decided, you know, we had the story from a decade ago when it was a spoken play, and they said, well, you know, we were approached by a studio, you know, the stop motion studio. We figured, well, let's do that if they want to do one of our stories. And then they said, well, you know, there's nothing really preventing a story from being done in animation, you know, in this format. You know, just because people think, oh, when you think stop motion, you think maybe Laika or Tim Burton or Aardman.
Wow, this is the weirdest Wallace and Gromit I've ever seen.
But yeah, it's like, you know, I like the idea of, using animation, because I know people complained when King of the Hill came out, and they're like, well, there's no reason it needs to be animated. It's like, well, that's what they want to do. It doesn't need to be, wild and zany.
Well, people forget, like, the Flintstones was prime time animation. It wasn't just a kid show. It was for adults at 9
They were the first they were the first program to show a couple sleeping in the same bed.
And then The Simpsons came along, and South Park fucked it up for everybody.
Well,
What's this going to be, like Father of the Bride, but in stop motion or something?
Well, I mean, let's see, no CG removal, joints and facial components.
This isn't the first time little puppets have been used to tell an adult story. Ever seen Team America?
those weren't stop motion, Frank. Those were
I know.
Those were marionettes.
Well, is this going to be like a comedy or something, or is this going to be like a really bland, dry?
Well, what's it called?
Animalasia. Or
Let me IMDb it.
Animalasia.
Story.
It's based on a 10-year-old spoken
Don't tell
play.
me I'm going to read it.
All right.
Let me use my own eye holes.
What's that spell? I don't know. I mean, they spent a lot of the time in the article talking about how, it's an intentional thing to talk about the characters and how their world is being forced upon them, and that every frame is being forced upon animated puppets to make it. So then they go and have the obvious talk about, like, we think of stop motion as kids' fare mostly. What's to keep it from being a very serious art craft?
Art.
What do you mean, like a drama type thing?
Yeah, I mean, what's to keep from a very, telling story about, a concentration camp being done in stop motion? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's the article say about this one, Frank?
Oh, you mean what does IMDb say?
IMDb, whatever. I tried reading through the article, and it was a lot of discussion about, the idea of using stop motion rather than using it for just to impress little kids.
The short summary of it, Ben, says, a man crippled by the mundanity of his life experiences something out of the ordinary.
Ah.
And it says it's
so
an
it could be a George
comedy
Clooney film.
drama that's rated R.
Ooh. So it could be a George Clooney film. Drama.
Tom Davis is the only guy I recognize so far. Let me see.
So, not the drama.
What are your guys' thoughts on animation? Because stop motion, a lot of people want to think of it as a genre, and really it's just a technique, which is the argument about animation. They're like, the same argument made with comic books, that, they're just for kids, or, they're just for this kind of stories, and it's like, no, you can do anything.
King Kong and Godzilla weren't fucking kid shows back in the day. King Kong wasn't, back in the least.
Well, obviously it's just the medium, but
yeah.
I mean, I just really, like, for me, like any kind of animation, I don't know, it always feels better to me when it's like of a warmer type of genre.
Yeah, Transformers versus anything with stop motion.
Alright.
Well, just mean like 2D or 3D or stop motion. When it's warmer and lighthearted, it just feels nicer, I guess.
Well, I mean, it is one of their charms, is that they can appeal, we talked about it before on who animation appeals to and all this stuff, and that...
I'd rather see Army of Darkness versus Transformers. There's two different kinds of animation in there.
Well, I mean, Paranorman's kind of dark at times.
I haven't seen that yet.
Well, dude, it's on Netflix. Go on.
Okay, I'm lazy. How's that?
I've got it in my Plex library.
I don't have time for Netflix. I'm on YouTube watching 20-second videos about shit I'll never do.
Franklin?
Yes?
Date night for you and your lady. Just sit down and watch this film.
You're telling me to Netflix and chill, my wife.
No, I'm telling you date night. I did not say Netflix and chill. You can watch it on my Plex. You don't have to Netflix and chill it.
We have Netflix.
But if you want to chill, that's your prerogative, Frank. But I'm just telling you...
prerogative.
I'm just telling you, it is a good movie. Of that year, it was probably my favorite film that came out.
What year was that?
2000... What year was that? 13? I'll say maybe 14. What year is it in? I can't remember.
Right now it's 2016.
No, I know what time it is now, Frank.
You don't know what time it is? Let me look it up. Hold on.
Do 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 da do 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 do.
Paranorman. 2012.
Okay, so yeah, it's a good movie, Frank. It's very well done, and yet it's also got dark parts.
That year?
Probably. I mean, unless there might have been maybe one or two other movies, but that was probably the best one to come out that year.
Let me see here.
Frank derailing the
2012.
I didn't see Django.
Pitch Perfect, Hunger Games, The Dark Knight Rises, Skyfall, The Avengers, Les Mis.
Here is Frank debating the color in the background of the article. That's what Frank does.
Ted, Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2.
So anyway, what does Nate have to say?
Oh, I don't think Nate's even seen it.
No, I'm saying, what does he have to say about the idea of doing animation for adult stories? Like, Persepolis is a fairly adult story, and I thought it worked well.
American Reunion was 2012,
How much
Ben.
is it gonna cost?
American Reunion.
What?
I said American
Not
Reunion.
you, Frank. What did Nate say?
How much
Damn it.
would it cost?
How much would it cost to use? I believe the guys said it wasn't. I mean, the people that animated the film versus the people that had the story are two different people. They said there really wasn't much of a difference between doing it live action or having it animated, because the company that came to us, they do the stop motion, so we said, okay, I guess we're going to do it stop motion, and then
Article
Somebody's
mentions nothing with.
Someone's adjusting their volume or something?
I think he
No,
needs
I was
typing
just
in
trying
the
to.
highlighter.
I was just trying to search for a $sign or millions, and I don't think the article probably doesn't mention any kind of price then.
See, if it costs less than to do live action, I definitely do.
Well,
animation.
it's a very simple looking story. It's just you get it's more about people reacting. It's not a blockbuster film, so I don't think it's going to break the bank either way you do it.
Well,
They do adult stuff with animation all the time.
Well, I don't know.
2D animation, yeah.
Maybe not. Well, yeah, 2D animation. Yes.
I guess the whole thing is that yeah,
Maybe
like
not an archive.
stop motion. I guess has sort of been, they've only gone into the
It's
kids
haven't
not
been
the whole
genre,
storytelling.
Well, like most stop motion movies are like Fantastic Mr. Fox, or maybe like
King Kong.
Well, I mean, you think like Nightmare Before Christmas and Frankenweenie, those kind of things, and you don't think about like here's an R-rated dramedy. So
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
stop motion is definitely played as safe as far as a whole stop motion movie.
There's never been anything or dramatic, anything that's not about action or sci-fi or some shit like
well,
that.
it all comes back again to the issue that animation stories are basically about stories that showcase why you would use animation. You don't get a talking drama of like the McCarthy era. You don't usually get that with animation.
It's pushing the limits of stop motion animation as an art form, and I appreciate that.
All right.
It's
So-
it's taking it from just something to give an added edge to a movie to carrying its own as a solid movie. That's pretty cool.
All right. So we all like the idea of that.
I mean, I'm not going to go see it, but that's cool.
Our next news story. Well, that's all right,
I
Frank.
agree
You
with
missed good
everything
stuff.
Frank just said there.
So, Gravity Falls creator Alex Hirsch landing at Fox. The creator of Disney's offbeat mystery toon series signs a production deal for a script and presentation pilot for Fox and 20th Century Fox TV. So, my mouse is moving. Details for the new project are still being kept under wraps, but Hirsch has reportedly signed a deal for a script and presentation pilot for Fox and 20th Century Fox TV. I'm cooking up some brand new weirdness, the Cal Arts graduate told Variety. And then it talks about how his film, how Gravity Falls came to an end based on his decision that he wanted to make it a set story within that summer and had a beginning, middle, and end. So a lot of comment on the online has been from people saying, well, yeah, just imagine what this guy's going to do when he can do more adult-oriented stuff. Now here's hoping Fox doesn't kill it. What are your guys' thoughts? Franklin?
Well, there's a lot of things where like the creator, like, they could have done a lot more with it, but they stop it while it's good and people want more, and then it has a legacy versus I wish they would have canceled it sooner.
So basically, you're saying the difference between this and The Simpsons, or Family Guy. Oh, no. Depending on your opinions. I think it's nice that he's doing.
You can always continue it, and then if they cancel it and then they do a second one, then you can say, oh yeah, I always liked Gravity Falls, but I didn't like this Gravity Falls.
No, he's not. He's not moving Gravity Falls onto Fox. He's doing another project. There is what they're doing.
If he's doing a new project, then he did a good project. It was successful. He ended it, and then he can carry all that credit towards the next project.
What are your thoughts, Ian, as a guy who's probably never seen Gravity Falls?
I don't know. I'll just go with whatever Nate said.
How about you, Franklin? What are your thoughts?
I like cartoons. I hope this is a good one.
I'll tell you what, Gravity Falls, for a show on Disney where, you're like, oh, it's just cutesy stuff, there's some freaky stuff on that show at times. Like, there's a part where a ghost haunts a mansion, and, like, it turns into, like, an Evil Dead scene where the walls are, like, bleeding, and the mounted animal heads turn and go, ancient sins, ancient sins. It's like, whoa! This is pretty messed up. So, I don't know. I'm interested in seeing what the future project's going to be for him, though. So,
yeah. I mean, hopefully it'll be good then, I guess.
Hopefully. Moving along to another article. Can you make a career out of internet animation? The Pegbarians are definitely trying. So, this is from a bunch of Dutch animators. I'm not even going to try and pronounce their names because I cannot speak. I have trouble speaking English. I don't think Dutch pronunciation is my forte. But they go by the Pegbarians. Since in late 2012, the three classmates started their channel as part of a school project. They wanted to find a way to pay the rent by working for themselves rather than for commercial clients or big studios. Then they graduated in 2014 and made a career out of internet animation, bouncing commission work and original work with or around YouTube's monetizing system. They managed it by building a solid fan base through sketches based on popular cultural staples like Adventure Time and Super Mario, as well as series based on stories proposed by their audience and Let's Play animations. As of this writing, their channel boasts 200,000 subscribers and is part of Channel Federators Network. Then they also go in and say that they've done stuff for other YouTube channels, commission work, and it's kind of, a toss-up. Like, they do stuff for Scene Anners and Vanos Gaming. And they say it's been a little bit of a toss-up to create their own stuff versus a gig for somebody else that's going to make money. And it also talks about how animation is viewed again by people more than live action because you want to sit and look at all the line work and stuff like that. So it gets more views, but the content's smaller. So for the monetization algorithms that YouTube uses. We've talked about before how right now they favor long play content.
Yeah.
So
we're going back to the YouTube animation thing now.
We will always be talking about this, Ian. I mean, because really, right now we've talked about how cable TV is not really an answer, and how there's all kinds of stuff on the internet, and right now YouTube is the outlet for people who make video content. I mean, Blip died, and now so it's either YouTube or Daily Motion, or maybe Newgrounds. So...
Hey, what about Vimeo?
What about Vimeo? Well...
I'll just throw that out there.
Well, I mean, they mentioned in the article is that, like, they're hoping another, animator-friendly, alternative to YouTube comes out there, but it probably won't. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Franklin?
I didn't know I was going to reach for comment. What was the
guy
question?
on the scene? Hold on 1 minute. Okay, what?
Back to you, Bob.
It's raining!
Are you still talking about the, Oh, you started another store. I'm sorry.
You still talking about that crap? Oh, you're talking about some other crap. My mistake.
Oh.
Was that the last story?
No.
No,
make a career out of internet cartoons?
We got a whole DMV line of stories, don't we, Ben?
Oh, I've only got 2 more. But I wanted to bring this one out, and I'm never going to get off the concept of it making money doing internet animations, guys. Because I'm an animator, and I'm on the internet. I want to make money on you so bad, internet.
That's right, Ben. Stroke yourself. That's right.
Animators.
What was that, Nate?
Then why don't you make a animator-friendly site for animators? Instead of complaining.
I'm not... Well, because it's hard, Nate. It was very hard for the people that made Patreon to build what they have. And, I don't know, they're still working on it. I'm still trying to figure out just to make content, much less how to make money with it. So, anyway. How about you, Ian? You seem awfully quiet on the subject.
Oh, well, I don't know what other comments to give besides like what we've already talked about before. I mean, if these people are successful, then good on them, I guess.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to take small strides, different animator channels, becoming successful. I mean, we've talked about since, what was it, 2012 when the whole algorithm changed and YouTube was a good place for animators for a while. And then the Reply Girls caused YouTube to change their algorithm, and then... yeah. So...
If you don't know, Nate, basically the argument was that, since animation is so hard, it takes months or years to make, like, really long animations.
Yeah, they can make videos all day.
Yeah, they can make videos from video games and Let's Plays just like that,
Just like that?
It favors long play, formatting versus, like people will watch an anime video more than they'll watch a Let's Play, but the Let's Play is longer, and that the algorithm is based on minutes stayed on the site. So, how long people keep watching. So, if it was based on actual views, it'd be different.
Like, I think as always, YouTube is going to care what makes them money versus anything else. Like, if they have people watching their advertisements longer, then they're always going to pay that.
I don't know, man. I think it's a thing that YouTube should address a little bit better. But until there's an alternative for animators out there, I mean, there's Newgrounds wants to be an alternative, but as to whether or not how applicable it is, I don't know. So anyway, I mean, especially with Flash dying.
What did you say?
You just have to make a site that's less greedy. That's all you have to do.
I'm not going to see it from that point, because I understand YouTube's frame of mind of, well, we're a business, But, I mean, if you flip the algorithm so it worked in favor for animators, they could easily get a good chunk of money, too. But,
But then again, YouTube pays pennies on what they make.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with internet advertising in general.
Right.
So... I mean, even if you have a successful YouTube channel, you're usually using it as a means to get sponsorships or affiliations or products pushed. Yeah. So anyway, next article, I found this in the suggested links from that story, and I thought I'd toss it out there. I don't know. Have you ever mentioned this on the show, Ian? It's an older article, but I thought it would be interesting to you. Pixar in a box. Learn how Pixar makes its films with the free Pixar in a Box program. So it's the Khan Academy. Respected nonprofit to online education platform Khan Academy is unpacking Pixar's creative and technical process for free. So, I don't know. Have you heard of this one before, Ian?
No, I haven't.
But they've got math-based lessons, including how combinatorics are used to create crowds, like the swarm of robots in Wall-E, how parabolas are used to model environments like the Forest and Brave, how weighted averages are used to create characters like Buzz Lightyear and Woody, how linear and cubic interpolation are used to animate characters, how trigonometry is used to create the worlds in which Pixar stories take place, how simultaneous equations are used to paint all of Pixar's images. So, and they say there won't be a price tag on it. They're focused on getting the knowledge out there. It's aimed at school kids, but it's something everybody who's interested in the science and math behind it can learn from. But it says this article is from 8/28/15, so I don't know. I figured I hadn't seen it mentioned on the show. And I know Ian's all about learning the science behind how these things are done.
Science.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I never find time. Like, I have plenty of tutorial resources that I haven't even watched myself, and it's just where's the time go to be able to sit down and watch these tutorial classes all day,
Well, this is more like, I assume since it's aimed more at school kids, it's probably more like Bill Nye the Science Guy, which I'm fine with.
So they make it a little bit entertaining then.
It's more about showing hey kids, they use this kind of stuff, and it's not like, okay, so you'll see if we take the parabola here and then we do yeah.
Right. If
So
there's a tutorial class that actually shows you how to make something that you can use right away.
like on Udemy.com, where if you happen to find a topic you like, from between the 1st till the 10th, I believe. Actually, I think it even goes up to the 12th. It's 11:59 on the 11th. I think that's the last day, I believe, to use it. But anyway,
They're not going to use that for an ad now, Ben. If you got that out all in one take.
what? Anyway.
It sounded like you were reading a script for Shameless.
Brought to you by Udemy.
Way to go.
Well, if you want me to read it shamelessly, I do have some copy they sent me.
Please, get your listeners to
if you got something that tutorial you can use right away, if you're doing a class for Arduino, you can use it right away.
Well, I mean, I have done a series of blog posts showing if you wanted to learn how to use 3D Max or Maya or different things, a lot of Photoshop courses on there. The start date of the promotion is 12:01 a.m. PDT, January 1st, 2016. The end of the date of the promotion, 12:01 a.m. PDT, January 12th, 2016. No promo code needed. Discount shows automatically. What?
Have you given the coupon code?
There's no coupon code. It shows automatically when you go to the site. It'll say if this course is on sale, it'll show it the price, then crossed out, and it shows $10. Yes.
And hey, how come you don't learn some Arduino code? I mean, keep mentioning it.
Because basically with the Arduino, I'm lazy. And also with the Arduino, it's mainly for making a prototype version of it, and then later on you refine it down to a smaller version of it because the Arduino circuit's kind of big.
Yeah.
But they have things for that. And also Arduino, I found by building it yourself, later on somebody comes out with it and you can buy it for much, much cheaper. Because they've done all the hard work.
Right.
So how much does this cost, Ben, or is this free?
What, Udemy?
No, the...
Pixar in a box?
Yes.
Free.
You just said it was free.
Well then. What software do they use mostly?
Not what? At Pixar?
Proprietary shit.
Mostly.
Some animators don't use software in order to make their
No, they make their own software. Pretty much they make all of their own shit.
Well, Pixar, they were one of the first studios really doing it, so in order to get things how they wanted, they had to build it like that. So
ILM makes all their own shit too. They make, like I was saying before, they make their own file types.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's how RenderMan and all their other stuff.
RenderMan?
Yeah.
Is that like Slenderman?
No. It's the software they use at Pixar, they actually offer it out for people to rent it or however their licensing is. It's a very nice rendering software.
What were you gonna say, Nate?
Well, like, Ben, how come you don't use software to make your cartoons and animations?
I use software. I use Toon Boom Harmony because I'm a 2D guy.
Right.
Ian, what do you use on your software? You mostly
3D Max.
You're a 3D Max guy, huh? You're not big on
3D
Maya.
Max and Maya.
How much is Maya?
A lot.
It's
I know the guys from South
actually,
Park.
It's more than that 3D printer.
Really, that bad, huh?
Yeah, that bad.
I remember when I was in college, I took
AutoCAD?
yes, I took AutoCAD, and the student version was more than like most people I knew at the time's rig.
Yeah.
And that's just
the
a student
The
version.
full-blown version is. Well, this was 2002-ish, XP territory.
But yeah, that's my last news story. Is the
Heck,
Pixar box?
Even I remember my friend was telling me about, like, back in the day, he was telling me, like, in early 2000s, like, people at Pixar, they actually used, like, not like, I don't know if they used custom computers, but I know they used even, like, a custom operating system
Huh.
it was like a operating system, I think it was called an Erix or whatever that they...
Whatever it was, it worked for them because they're
That makes sense.
beautiful.
I mean,
So
you
that-
think
that nobody can duplicate the results because they don't even know how to use any of the software.
Well, I mean, most studios that had to build up the software they wanted, because I mean, at the time there weren't companies building that kind of software. I mean, when Disney they used the Amiga for a while, and then they developed their own CAPS system, and now that has been antiquated because they all pretty much just moved to Toon Boom. But when they brought out the Lion King and wanted to do 3D, they had to have like an emulator that would be able to render out from this CAPS format.
So when you draw your animations, do you basically draw your basic 2D thing at a skeletal frame so that you can edit it for next week's comic?
No, well, my comics I draw that in Manga Studio. Those are all just images. I'm not a person who likes to use sprites. I like to draw each thing.
I know, but you can custom draw it and then you can add a skeletal frame so that it edits the line art.
Yeah,
Right?
those
Oh,
are
he's
those
talking
are
about, like, skinning and stuff.
like what I'm saying though. That's sprite usage. That's reusing the same thing over and over, and it's like I'd rather just draw everything straight up each time.
Yeah, because you said, you did an episode. We did an episode about talking about rigging and stuff with the 2D. You're not really that interested in doing that stuff, then?
I mean, I
don't
rig.
understand why they don't do the rigging and then just edit it. It's like, okay, that's kind of how I want it, and then I'll edit it on after. But I don't like this.
Rigging and modeling are two different jobs. They're done by different departments usually. And just because a model's rigged, there's still the third person that's the animator that just takes that modeled rig and moves it around. Those right there are three different jobs.
Yeah, you have to tell, like, each point of the rig, like the skeleton. It's sort of like puppetry works.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, somebody's got to do that part. That's just as hard. But I think Ben's saying he's still, like, just pretty much doing every frame just by hand then, huh?
It depends on what I'm doing. I mean, for my comics and stuff, I just draw each frame, but because I don't want to have to be digging through trying to find a thing and alter it, and I'd rather just straight up make a new thing each time because your stuff can get very stale.
Man, which method does he do?
What now?
I said I know John K uses Toon Boom. What method does he do there? Does he?
They do some in-betweening tricks that you can use with Toon Boom, but like he likes drawing stuff straight up and into because his whole thing is about drawing, so he likes making as many funny drawings as he can. I mean, I tend to like it depends on the style I'm looking for. If I'm trying to do something that looks like it's drawn on ones in a very organic movement, then I'll draw every frame. But sometimes you want to reuse something if it saves you time. And it depends, like, especially with Toon Boom's deformers and stuff now, you can make one drawing and make it move very convincingly, but, it's a matter of, is it worth my time to rig this, or do I just save time by drawing it quickly? So...
Well, what animation are you working on right now, or are you still, trying to battle with, concepts and stuff as far as what you want to do?
Well, my main goal right now is I want to do animations, small internet animations on Vine and Instagram for a while, and do a few of those, and test different places to do animations. I'm thinking I'd like to try doing some animated webcomics and whatnot, and see what I can do with them.
Start a new thing, Ben. Do animated memes.
First, I was like, one by one. Then I was like, on ones. I don't know.
Well, like you said before, you're not really the type of person that likes to work on a project for months or whatever, like a painting,
I like to give projects a duration, I have long-term goals and I have short-term goals for things. It's like when I'm changing the site, after we finish talking on the podcast, after I get it uploaded, after I get Monday's comic done, I'm going to take about a week and try and figure out if I want to, use a whole new theme or if I just want to use a plugin and whatever, and then I'm going to spend the next week actually putting stuff to use on that rather than, getting mired in designing a thing and taking forever to make it perfect. I just want it to be functional the way I'd like it to be. That's all.
I mean, I don't know what you go through custom drawing, and it might be quicker each time, but if you rigged it, it would save a lot of time. And then couldn't you just sell, if you drew it yourself, you could sell that as a premium. It's and if you want to draw my hand drawn versus this, could you just sell that as a premium and then have it be a subscription?
The problem with that, Nate, is that when you rig a character and all that stuff, it can become very stale. I know people who have drawn comics using sprites, and they just swap out the head or the mouth for this frame or whatever, and after a while you go, well, these all look the same. I kind of wish I'd evolved them, because everything looks the same way as it was when it was drawn a year ago, because it was only being drawn a year ago. Half of the fun for me is making the art and making something new.
That's what I'm saying. You use the stale frames or whatever, and they're like, oh, I like this webcomic, but I wish it looked a little nicer. And then it's like, hey, I see you want it to look a little nicer. If you do the subscription service or buy my physical version of my webcomic that I physically hand drew and looks really nice and primo and gives me money in my pocket, then wouldn't that work out for everybody?
I think you're thinking way too hard about the process. Nobody's really interested in doing that. Some artists will do a thing where they'll have a black and white version on their site, and then they'll have the color version behind a paywall or something. But that's not usually paying very well. That's usually more effort to make different versions of the same thing than it is to just have the thing done.
Yeah, and the thing is, Nate, I think Ben's pretty much saying, he's sort of trying to get away from the webcomic thing now, and he's going to the animation where it's he wants to do...
away from the webcomic? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm still doing Billy Badass, but the other comics are basically on hiatus for now. My main push is to really focus more on my animation and get out and known for doing that.
No more Grim and Saddam, man?
Well, if you paid any attention, Frank, Grim and Saddam hasn't updated since 2006, 2009.
Oh.
See, that's another problem, getting you people to read my stuff. I will find you, Franklin. No.
Well, I looked at Billy Badass, and I liked a couple of them, but some of them I just didn't get because it's about animation, and that's kind of not my thing.
It's not about animation. It's about a fanboy from the of the 80s and 90s going back in time and re-experiencing his childhood.
Some of the Billy Badass were talking about the Flintstones and stuff, and
Oh, you're talking about different cartoons?
Yeah, I'm talking about individual cartoons, and I couldn't relate to them.
Oh,
shit.
You don't like the Flintstones?
No, I'm saying I like the Flintstones, but the stuff he was talking about in the cartoon about the Flintstones,
You don't think the Great Gazoo was a comical turning point?
I think it was Uncle Oliver, or Cousin Oliver.
Which is something else I put in the blog post, Frank, if you bothered to read my comics, Franklin.
I don't read instructions.
I don't know. With webcomics, I want something that's funny and wonky and, you know.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. So,
it's
yeah.
Okay, to each their own.
I have a different humor.
Don't die, Franklin. Don't die.
Yeah,
So
Ben,
anyway.
that's what I think Ben was pretty much saying before, that his main passion, or like his calling or whatever, was really to do animation. So
Yeah.
he did the whole comic book thing before, and maybe he will pretty much just like give up on it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've changed. Basically, what's changed is my opinion that, in 2015, I considered myself a guy who does, animation and webcomics and this kind of thing. Now it's like I'm an animator and I have a webcomic, but it's not my main focus. My main focus is other stuff, and I need to focus on that a little bit more intently.
Now you can do rigging with animation, but then doesn't it sort of look like South Park or whatever with
It's
like
a matter.
sprites and stuff?
Well, the thing about South Park is they intend it to look cheap because they're trying to mimic the old timey, stop motion and stuff.
Well, they're paper cutouts that they originally used.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's why they use 3D modeling to give it a look like paper texture.
I mean, the thing is, with rigging and stuff for animation, there's some stuff I'm going to use rigs on. I've got characters that I'd like to design that I could just do, stuff with deformers and whatnot. But then, it's a matter of stylistic versus what I'm trying to do. Like, if something shapes and morphs, it's more fun to just draw that, rather than if I have a guy's arm move up and down, I could just tween that.
Well, yeah. Well, like those types of rigs are more for just planar animation, the animation that's going on the same plane to the camera, right? So, like, if you're doing a walk cycle or whatever from the side.
if you're reusing stuff, you can make a walk cycle and then set it as a template and then just reuse it and also animate stuff around it, or take that animation and then make it animated so it goes across. Like, you just have a static walk cycle, loop it, and then pull it across, and it'll animate the guy walking. So,
Yeah. But if he's like running around in a circle, or he's coming at you, or he's turning around or whatever, you're gonna have to make all those changes in form yourself then.
Yeah, and plus
right?
that's half the fun, I mean, when you see, like, when you watch American Dad and everyone's sitting around talking and it's not much going on, that's a very flat animation. Versus you watch something where there's a up close and action and stuff like that. It's like you notice the difference between like a full animated, like a Disney movie versus the TV show equivalent of it.
Yeah. And I'm sure Ben will, like, he's gonna figure out ways of like giving people different levels of like rewards, pretty much, just like he's trying to do with the Patreon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I've got all kinds of plans in the works, fellas. So anyway.
Right.
So now is it time for trivia?
If you want to do.
Trivia time with Ian.
Frank's
What?
already missing the trivia.
Yeah. Yeah, skip it, trivia with Ian. Yeah.
Don't fall over, man.
Yeah, trivia with Ian.
Is Ian involved in this?
I suppose. I mean, I don't know. I say since we've spent a decent amount of time talking about animation, we should do an animated trivia. What do you think, guys?
Didn't we do that last time?
No, I think last time we did, what was it, Christmas trivia? Because it was the last show.
It was a horrible trivia.
Trivia.
I think we should do a trivia on Latin names.
No. So anyway. Animation, Ian.
Well, but that's not fair either, though, because then,
Yeah.
I mean,
What? Just because we have
Those
degrees in the
guys.
topic, you're saying we're going to win?
You're going to destroy.
Well, wait. You forgot about Nate cheating here. I
Nate,
mean, educated guesses.
Nate going to the Googles.
Nate, Mr. Every answer is 30% C.
Frank, what topic do you want to do then?
Hold on, let me look at what we got here.
Let names.
Do.
Mind melt.
No, I don't want to do a diabolical word game, Frank.
Well, god damn it.
That's a daily game. That's something different.
Oh,
Quick
well, do
quiz.
you guys just want to do one on technology because of the CES and we're talking about
Sure.
Yeah,
crap load of...
Sure, Ian. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Bring it on like Donkey
Big
Kong.
Wiener Dog is going crazy out there.
It was on Sci and Tech at the bottom.
Oh, what? Yeah, we can do that. I sort of thought that was...
Sci-fi. Okay.
technology and...
Technology and computers.
Are you on Windows 7, Ian?
Yeah, what?
Because you would, we were saying in Windows 7 to use this, and I'm like, oh, is he on 7 or 8?
Well, I figured that it would work similar.
Huh?
I figure it would work similar.
Well,
Like
I'm
you're
just
talking about what I was having you do before.
Well, no, when you called, you're like, well, on Windows 7 it's like this, and I'm like, is that from previous experience? Is he on 7? Just out of curiosity.
Windows 7 does things like this. Windows 8 does things like this.
Windows 8 pisses people off.
All right, pick
How about
a
General Tech?
General Tech. Okay, bring it on. Bring it on.
Nanotechnology sounds good.
Tiny things sounds good.
Well, wait. Before we come in, I got a call from Doug, and he says tonight is a title match, and I'm going to be answering for Doug.
Oh, you should have seen.
Calling in all the answers to me right now.
We invited Doug on for the last Minecraft show. We didn't tell him it was for Minecraft, and then once we did, he got mad.
Imagine that.
It's Legos. Gay Legos.
Okay.
I say, why do the Legos have a sexual
He has said
preference?
that all of his answers are going to be C, and he forfeits his belt because tonight is a title match.
Okay. So I guess nanotech sounds like the best one because it is a tough, little difficult. So let's.
I wish this one was maybe tough. I don't know. What do you think about this one too? Maybe
Well-
science and science fiction.
I think we'll do that for the last ones. Those will probably be tiebreakers, and we'll need something easy after or average after a difficult one. All right.
Yay, nanotechnology.
Nanobots. Dun, dun.
I got some canned college courses on nanotechnology.
All
What
right.
did you say? You took a course on nanotechnology?
No, I said I have a course. I have some canned college courses on nanotechnology.
Who is generally credited with the first serious scientific claim that manufacturing on the molecular or even the atomic scale was possible? The claim was made at California Technical Institute and was called "There's Plenty of Room at the Bottom." Richard P. Feynman, K. Eric Drexler, Ralph Merkel, Ed Regis. Ian?
Who do you want to come over?
I can see.
Okay. I'm gonna say. Drexler?
Yeah, I was going to say Drexler. I mean,
Yeah, sure. Drexler. And then Doug says C. Ralph.
and Franklin, what do you say? Okay. And the answer...
Right?
Oh, it's Feynman. He was my second choice. Oh, well.
And that sounds disgusting, by the way.
Did
In 1986, Dr. K. Eric Drexler published a book for the layman that gave a wide overview of the potential applications of molecular nanotechnology in such areas as computing, medicine, space science, and the military. What was the name of this groundbreaking book? A Crowded Blueprint, The Atomic Cookbook, Smaller is Better, or Engines of Creation? This would be me. I'm going to say Engines of Creation.
I'm also going to say Engines of Creation. And then Doug says C on the banana phone.
I say smaller is better.
Oh. That's obviously not what she said. So, I'm gonna go The Atomic Cookbook.
And the answer...
Seems...
Engines of Creation!
Doug's not doing so hot.
No?
No?
And it's a title match tonight.
Oh, man. A particular molecule of carbon made up of 60 carbon atoms has received some press as a structure that shows promise as a basic building block in the area of molecular manufacturing. What is the whimsical, non-technical name for these molecules? Fullerods, buckyballs, nanocubes, or nanodes? Nate?
Let's see.
Definitely not buckyballs.
Probably not buckyballs. I'll go with nanodes, and then Doug says buckyballs.
I say
Okay.
nanocubes.
Ian?
I'm gonna say fuller rods.
And I'm going to say buckyballs.
Ah,
Doug got one. Oh my gosh.
What is the general name for the class of structures made of rolled up carbon lattices? Fullerods, nanotubes, nanosheets, nanorods? Frank?
Nanosheets.
I'm gonna say nanotubes. Isn't that what graphene is? Nanotubes.
I'll also go with nanotubes, and Doug says fuller rods.
I'm also going to
He's
say
full.
Fullerods.
Oh, I think you're gonna be full of it, rods.
The answer...
Nanotubes.
Yeah.
Nanotubes.
Did Frank get that one?
No.
No. Oh, looks like Nate's been tied again.
Okay. Nano, as a prefix, denotes what order of magnitude? 10 to the 3rd, 10 to the 12th, 10 to the 6th, 10 to the 9th. Or is it 10 times? I can't. Oh well. Ian?
I'm pretty sure nano is a billionth of a meter, so I'm gonna say 9, the 9th.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go with.
Yeah, 9. And then Doug says the 12th.
6th.
Oh, Frank's gonna be a rebel, aren't you, Frank?
Well, if you noticed, I have a system. I'm picking C for every fucking answer.
Oh, okay.
Because none of this matters.
Let's
And
see.
the 9th.
Yeah.
What is the term used in the field of nanotechnology to describe an as-yet theoretical device that will be able to bond atoms together in virtually any stable pattern? Replicator, constructor, stacker, assembler. This would be me, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I know in Star Trek and sci-fi it would be replicator, but I'm going to say assembler, because that sounds more like an actual name for a as yet theoretical.
I'm going to say constructor.
I'm going to go with replicator, and then Doug says a stacker.
I say stacker just because it's C.
Ben was right,
Assembler.
assembler.
Yes. Yes.
Ben is...
Yes. In discussions of the potential of molecular nanotechnology, the possibility has been posited that badly or maliciously designed self-assembling structures could get out of control and destroy or disassemble all structures they encounter in their blind quest to replicate. What is the term for such a structure or group of structures? Blue goo, gray goo, green goo, red goo.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
And this would be Nate's.
I believe this is Doug's, actually. And Doug says red goo.
I know what this is.
What does Nate think it is?
Well, actually, Ben, it is your turn, technically.
No,
Nate, we're not doing Doug too.
Okay, fine.
I'm not keeping track of that too.
I'll say red goo, and then Doug says green.
I say green.
I'm pretty sure you're all wrong and it's gray goo.
Yeah, I was going to go with gray goo.
Scenario.
Yeah.
It's a gray goo scenario.
Yeah.
And the answer,
It's gray.
just like the aliens. Scientists discussing the potential of molecular nanotechnology realized the possibility that self-assembling molecular constructs could conceivably get out of control and destroy just about everything. This led to the concept that other constructs could be designed to neutralize and or destroy the rogue substances before they got out of hand. By what colorful term are these theoretical antibody substances collectively known? Red goo, green goo, gray goo, blue goo. And this would be Frank's turn.
Gray goo.
We already, but that was the answer to the previous one. So this is talking about the antibodies, right?
I wasn't paying attention. The fucking answer is C.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll say the blue goose. It's
Shoe goo.
yeah.
We'll see if they throw out and say antibodies, though. Antibodies, aren't those the white blood cells? I'm going to go with red goo because blood.
Right.
Nate?
What are you going to say, Nate?
I'll also go with red goo.
Okay. Blue goo.
I was this close to going with blue, but I thought I'd be a smart dog.
Hey, listen, don't you know, isn't it true, like...
And Doug decided not to answer that one. So he forfeited his point.
Isn't all, like, cures and stuff in, like, the movies always, like, blue?
I don't know, but there is a whole article about the colors of movie posters being orange or blue. Many challenges exist to be overcome before molecular manufacturing can truly reach maturity as an applied science. Which of the following is such a challenge when designing molecular machinery? All of these: quantum fluctuation, complexity of design, thermal noise.
This is me?
Yeah.
I'd say all of those.
Yeah, I'm going to say all of those.
Doug
Frank?
agrees.
So, Frank, are you...
Complexity of design.
Alright. Thanks for trying.
Well, to be fair, his consistent answer does yield consistent results here.
Shut up.
As a public record at the end of 2002, which country was making the greatest annual investment in molecular nanotechnology research? United States, South Korea, Japan, or Russia? BB, huh? I'd say it's either the US or Japan.
That's disgusting. He's got some green goo going on.
I want to say Japan.
I'm gonna say South Korea.
Nate?
I'll go with Japan.
And
I
Franklin?
guess that's what Frank's gonna go with also, right? Or are you gonna surprise us?
Japan.
Alright. And I should have went with the crowd.
I still pick C, dude.
No, he was saying he should have gone with the crowd.
Oh.
Yeah. And
I misunderstood.
Finally got one. Alright, let's go to the science and science fiction. So
Alright.
the thing is,
Let's begin with an idea that's appeared in many science fiction books, such as Simmons' Rise of Admian, Brin's Heaven's Reach, and Banks's Consider Phlebas. The basic concept is a swarm of solar satellites that could theoretically capture most of the sun's energy, but in fiction the concept has been expanded to theorize a globe of solid matter completely enclosing a star, capturing all the star's energy. What is this called? A Dyson sphere? A Lamarckian globe? Planck's paradise? A Hubble habitat?
whose is this now?
I don't know.
Didn't you go last on it? Because you said like the Japan first. Or
Yeah, okay, so let's go with Nate.
A Dyson sphere.
Yeah, I'm going with the vacuum cleaner name too.
Yeah, Dyson sphere. Franklin?
You gonna go with the Planck?
Planck's Paradise.
And the answer
And
is a Dyson sphere. Here's another science fictional idea that's theoretically possible, sometimes called a skyhook or an orbital tower. The idea is to run a cable from Earth through a geostationary point to a counterweight area out into space, so you'd have a way to quickly and cheaply get things into orbit out of the planet's gravity well. Was the name of this concept found in Robinson's Mars trilogy, Niven and Barnes' The Descent of Anansi, and Heineson's Friday. The Golden Stair, Magic Carpet, the Indian Rope Trick, or the Space Elevator? Frank, this one's yours.
Indian Rope Trick.
How'd I figure? Ian?
I'm gonna go with the space elevator.
Space Elevator.
Yeah.
'Cause they've actually thought about doing that one to the International Space Station and stuff.
And plus, they talked about that on that Morgan Freeman show.
Yeah, they said it would take like 6 months to get up there or whatever, something like that.
How will they get through the Earth's atmosphere, though?
Well, I mean, once it's already there, it's a matter of writing it out, you know. A popular idea in science fiction is a spacecraft propelled by light-huge mirrors catch photons or solar winds from the sun or light beams from Earth and move the ship. The idea appears in Niven and Bornell's The Mote in God's Eye, Boyle's Planet of the Apes, and Clark's Sunjammer. What is this idea called? Solar sail, sun surfing, golden parachute, or beam accelerator?
This is my turn, right?
Yes.
Solar sail.
Solar sail.
Solar sail.
Golden Parachute.
No, Frank. No.
Like in Treasure Planet. Another science fictional concept which may actually happen someday is the idea that we humans create machines that are actually more intelligent than us, and then those intelligences create more intelligent beings still, and so on until, according to writer Werner Vinge, the human era will be ended. What is this concept called in books like Strauss's Accelerando, MacLeod's Newton's Wake, and the culture books of Ian Banks? The Circuitry Rapture, the Forbin Project, HAL 9000ism, or the Singularity? This would be me, huh?
Yeah, I already know it though.
Okay. I was gonna say well, didn't we talk about singularity being when humans and machines become one or something like that? So, I mean, the Foreman Project was that movie about the computers that became smarter than man and took over the planet in like a almost Terminator way. So, I'll say the Singularity.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct because that's what they talked about when they said that Moore's Law or whatever, where processing power would double like every so years, and it would just go to a point of like no return, pretty much. That's why they call it the Singularity.
Nate?
Sure.
Sure what?
Sure you're going with the same answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Franklin?
HAL 9000ism.
Yep.
Singularity. And now the last question. A concept that's been around since 1959 has become more popular in recent fiction now that it's getting closer to reality. Examples include the Borg of Star Trek and their assimilation technology, Crichton's novel Prey and its microscopic robots, and Bear's blood music. What is the scientific term for the controlling of matter at an atomic level or molecular level? Macrobiorobotics, nanotechnology, wave sign technology, or biorhythms? And this would be Nate's.
Nanotechnology.
That's funny.
That's funny that's what we spent the whole last part of the quiz doing, so nanotech. Ian and Frank?
Wave sign technology.
Well,
I'm gonna go with nanotechnology.
you know, I feel kind of nanotechnology is the answer for those listening at home. I feel kind of bad for Frank that he didn't at least get a second one because the broke clock is right twice a day.
Yep. Well, for our audio listeners, me and Nate have 10, and Ben has 12, and Frank just had 1.
One is the loneliest,
number.
Oh man, well, it's been quite a show.
Who gets that?
Ben gets his vote.
I
I'd like to thank the members of the Academy for giving me all the answers. I mean, like to thank everybody for joining us on this episode, first back of the new year, 2016, coming in strong after our Christmas and New Year's break. I'd like to thank my co-host Ian for, finding us some nice trivia and bringing in his news stories. Always a pleasure to see what you bring in.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Like
you too.
Like to thank his friend Nate for joining us because, of course, we always have fun color commentary with Nate around. Also, I'd like to thank my twin brother and arch nemesis Frank for behaving himself for the most part until it got to the dirty topic of testing.
And he was pouting during the quiz. He was like, "Oh, this matters."
Well, I think he's busy with the loudest mouse wheel on the earth, apparently. Oh, man.
My keyboard's louder, I think. Hold on.
Yeah, I think my fists are louder. Hold on. Yeah, so...
Do.
So anyway, on that note, I'd just like to remind everybody that currently there's a sale going on at udemy.com. You can check it out. You don't need a coupon code. Just go in and check out what things are on sale. If you've got any New Year's resolutions you want to work on, if you want to learn another language, learn to play an instrument, check them out. There's a lot of free courses you can try out to give it a try if you want to. And again, if you've checked out the blog, for the last 5 days I've written about 2 posts a day where I recommend courses on everything from the beginning of art fundamentals and an introduction to Udemy, a bunch of business classes to check out, a bunch of social media classes to check out, different things to keep people interested. And if you want to become a teacher yourself there and check it out and try selling your knowledge in courses there. Cool. And Does anybody else have anything they want to close out on?
Shot Ahsoka. Right.
Right. Well, until then, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Get him out. To find out more, visit NoRightsProductions.com. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NoRights. And hey, why don't you check out my Tumblr at NoRights.tumblr.com.